just went live.
I know. All right.
Yeah. It says stream offline.
Well, I don't know how well.
It looks like it's behind.
Probably is. I don't know how to. Hey, Not Only Wood, how are you doing? Hey, Ben. Hey, Jeff. Hey, Jeffrey, how you doing?
Oh, hello.
How's everyone's New Year's going so far?
I got a really good night's sleep. Lots of rest.
Nice. So what are you guys all doing for New Year's Eve? I got my my boy Ryan here with me, hanging out. We're just in the shop. Figure we stop in, chat. Oh, nice. Yeah, Ben's channel's awesome. We are on the East Coast, United States. Current time is 9:17. Hanging out at a truck stop. What are you doing at a truck stop? You a truck driver? I don't know if you can hear the noise in the other room, but the family's in the other room. They're watching the truck driver. Nice. Nice. That must be fun. I have one of my mother's friends was a truck driver, and I know he liked it. He told me at first it was something he really enjoyed, and then after a while he was telling me it kind of got old, not knowing where he was going to be all the time. My wife's uncle actually is a truck driver, and I know he likes it a lot. It was something I kind of thought about and thought would be fun to do, be able to travel around. 3:17 a.m. in Germany. Wow, Happy New Year, man. Yeah, we have a few hours left till 2018.
3 hours, I think, is what the timer said.
Yeah, it's about 2 hours and 40 minutes left.
I can go check actually on the.
That's awesome, Germany.
Thing.
That's cool. Hey, buddy.
What?
Liz says hi.
Tell her I said hi.
He says hi. He's coming right back. Hey, Victory, how you doing? Go Badger, stomp the Buckeye.
It's 2 hours and 42 minutes. It's exactly 4 hours and. Oh wait, no.
2 hours.
Yeah, 2 hours and 42 minutes.
That's right. Oh, did I miss? Oh, hey, McCoy, how are you? I was checking out your video earlier. So yeah, we're just hanging out in the shop. I've been doing some projects in here the last couple days. It's been super cold, as you know. I think it's like -2 out right now here. Yeah, 10 degrees. So Victory, where are you at where it's 10 degrees? It's oh yeah, I don't know if you can see that. It's -5 here right now. Yeah, Ben, definitely. We were just talking about that earlier. I love this community. It's awesome. You know, I've done Kentucky. Nice. A nice balmy 10 degrees. Yeah, this is like an awesome community. I love you know, collaborating and talking to other people and just kind of chatting about, you know, things that we're all into and common interests and that sort of thing. You know, I don't always have a lot of time to do a lot of stuff, but it's cool to be able to have, you know, a group of people who just like to chat and talk about the same sort of things and share their experiences doing that same sort of stuff. Yeah, -5 is definitely too cold. I actually just went outside a few minutes ago to check on something outside, and just breathing in, I can feel like the hairs in my nose freezing. You breathe out, and it's like the condensation on my beard is like freezing, and it turns to ice.
The stuff that I made is pretty cool.
Us Americans are soft, my Canadian YouTube friends. Yeah, I've seen some people, especially the Tradesman Channel 2017. He'll be out there at -10 degrees, sawmilling, doing his videos. I tried to get out there with my my camera on some of these cold days, and they don't last for whatever reason. The batteries they like want to drain instantly, and I don't understand why that happens, but yeah, it does. I noticed the same thing. I have a drone. I was just out flying it and trying it out the other day, and the battery was just dropping in that thing. Yeah, it would last, if I was lucky, 3 or 4 minutes, where I should be getting like 10 or 15 minutes of runtime on it. So 3 degrees at the truck stop. Oh, there you go. At least it's a little warmer. Hopefully you're in somewhere warm in your truck or in the truck stop.
I wonder where you're going next.
Where are you headed? Where are you headed towards? Or what are you hauling? Yeah, they do. I noticed that. The rechargeable batteries, they just don't hold up in this weather. I mean, just like car batteries, like you said. Or even the battery in my backhoe seemed to have drained a bit, but probably me trying to start it didn't help with a frozen block. So I have to remember to keep that block heater plugged in, or that thing does not start. And the same thing with the sawmill. I think, and I've only had the sawmill, I think 3 or 4 months now, and I haven't changed the oil in it yet. So it's probably got thicker oil. That's probably more, probably better for the summertime. So I gotta look at maybe putting some 5W20 in there. Hey Chris, how you doing? How's your New Year's?
If you hasn't had it already.
I'm curious where everyone's at and the time zones you're in, and what time it is now, and how far away you are from your New Year. We know not only what is New Year's passed a few hours ago. Yeah, Forged in Fire. What was it? Somebody just recently told me about that show. I was checking it out. Oh, one of the guys I work with. He was telling me about it, and I downloaded a season of it on YouTube. Oh, Hudson, Massachusetts. Nice. Okay. Yeah, I'm originally from Massachusetts myself. My father lived in Milford. I got cousins and family in Marlborough, Framingham. I lived in Framingham a bit. Originally from the East Coast, over by just north of Boston. Oh, hey Liz. Game Slugger says hi.
Yeah, I think we're doing a
It was wedded and Forged in Fire. It's actually forging stuff. Yeah, I'd love to try that. It's funny.
I want to build like a one of those backyard foundry things where you can like melt.
Oh,
metal.
melt down metal. Yep.
Yeah. You know the I think it was the
Texas,
King,
nice.
I think the King of Random made
830.
one. He actually made one out of a giant metal garbage can.
Oh, Ben, you do forging. Oh, that's cool. Oh, I'd love to see that.
And you used K-Will. K-Will. If that's how you say it, I think.
Oh yeah, so yeah, Not Only Wood's got a channel. You should definitely check him out.
This stuff, it won't stick together. The keys are breaking apart.
Yeah, so Ryan here's been watching some YouTube videos on making, what is it?
Putty.
Like a putty?
Yeah.
Where you could actually, like, you mix, like, well, he didn't have the silicone caulking, but silicone caulking and...
Oh, that's how to make, like, toys. And then the silicone, since, it is, like, it's made, like, it's a bouncy product. So when you go to drop it, it bounces.
Yeah, I've heard people talking about Cecil Skinner. I haven't. I should go over and check out his channel. I've heard that he does a lot of stuff, firewood, and it actually sounds like a lot of the stuff that I do. Most of the stuff I'm doing is like the firewood, especially, is necessity. It's what's keeping us really warm right now. I'm down in the shop, and I have. Part of our heating system is actually plumbed in here, and so I do have to turn the heat on in here when I come down because the wood stove doesn't really heat this room, which usually isn't a problem, but when I want to hang out down here.
Like right now.
Hey Mikey Yo-Yo, how are you doing?
Hey.
New Year's Day, Happy New Year's. Cecil is a true homesteader, built a sawmill from a... Oh wow. Oh, that's cool. Yeah, I'll have to definitely check that out. I wonder if I've seen some of his videos already. I may have.
Yeah, this is insane to get.
Yeah, I want to try out forging. Actually, I'll pull something out that I picked up in anticipation of setting a forge up.
I'll talk. Okay. So while you do that, so just, yeah. So
So
well, that's cool.
yeah, I gotta check out Cecil. I've heard people mention him a few times. I'm surprised I haven't heard of him yet or subscribed to him yet. I'm gonna do that tonight. So this is, if you can tell by looking, it's a piece of a railroad track. And so
That's what I
a
thought.
friend of mine up the street who has like an antique collectibles shop, he does metal scrapping, and picked this up, and so
That's heavy.
I've done some work for him, restoring some old tools and putting handles on some old stuff for him.
Wait, let me try.
How old am I? There you go. I'll be 40 February 17th.
Well, I've got it this cold, and it's connected.
And both of you, I don't know if you mean Ryan or somebody else out there, Ryan is 13. So he's officially a teenager, starts high school next year.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I noticed. I did, you can see I kind of banged on it a bit already. I was replacing the brakes in my wife's SUV, and there's this little like pin that holds the shoes in for the parking brake, and I accidentally broke it, and it looked exactly like a nail, but with like a flattened head on one end. So what I did is I took some MAP gas and oxygen, heated it up, glowed red, and I smashed it on this and kind of shaped it to the exact same shape and put it in place of it, and it worked. So I guess that was my first forging project, but I was kind of forced into that one. 5th anvil. Wow. I've seen yeah, anvil would be better. Yeah. I really want to get one. Oh, you're 17. No kidding. That's cool. Yeah, I really want to get an anvil, but man, it's amazing how expensive they are. I've been keeping my eye out on, like Craigslist and just kind of yard sales and flea markets and things like that. But most people are aware of their worth. But I should do it, especially if I get into it. It's a sickness, yeah. I'm sure a lot of you have already seen, but Alex Steele, his channel just blew up. Like, I think he just started the last year or so, and his channel's doing incredible. But he puts a video out every day. The kid has amazing energy. But yeah, I'd love to tinker with stuff. They're cheap there, huh? Wow. Probably be cheaper to have it shipped here than from there. Some of the anvils you see $300, $400, $500, $600. Jeffrey's got that right.
Is Lily still?
Ben, I definitely need to make a buzzsaw like you got. I got a stack of slabs. If you've seen in my, I think it was the last video, all those slabs I pulled out that were just buried in frozen sawdust behind my mill. They're still over in my yard. I gotta cut them up, and I'm just regretting. Not regretting. I'm not looking forward to taking my chainsaw to those, because that's a pain in the back. Having to bend over, and guys, I've done that quite a bit already, and yeah, that's on top of that, and then having to stack it after you're done. Let's see what people are saying here.
Wait, Dad.
Yeah, Chris, there aren't a lot of anvils for sale around here either. Oh wow, 300-pound anvil for $70.
Where?
You'd be looking at $300 to $500 for one around here. Yeah, Jeffrey's got a sawmill too. Actually, I'm sure most of the people in here have been on Ben's channel, but he just put out a collaboration video where he shared some sawmills, some other sawmill channels, and it was awesome. It was pretty cool to see some stuff that the guy Wayne there. That was an interesting setup he had. That was pretty cool. I've never seen anything like that before.
It's not sticking. It keeps breaking apart.
Yeah, I've seen people online making forges too. I don't know if it's worth making one or looking at buying one, or having a coal-fired one, or
like the one,
wood-powered one.
like one that melts metal.
Yeah, actually, before I had my not only wood, I still have my chainsaw mill. I have a Stihl MS 660 94cc saw with a 36-inch bar and some ripping chains, and that was what I was using to mill before I got the bandsaw mill, and it was great. I mean, it's really what got me into it, and just being able to turn. I mean, I remember the first cuts that I made. I actually started out with a mini mill, which is even more work, and I was only using a MS291, which is like a 50cc, 54cc saw, and the first board I remember getting off of that first log was it was pretty exciting. But it's a lot more work for sure. I mean, it's unless you get something that brings you up off the ground, it's really hard on your back. You got your face right into the exhaust of the saw. The dust is just covering you. So it's definitely a lot more work, but I still use my chainsaw mill for any logs that I can't fit on my mill. I have one out there right now. I think it's like a 32 or 34-inch diameter pine log that I'm probably going to have to pull the chainsaw mill out for that, because I'd love to get some wide pine boards out of it.
Dad.
Hey, Wisconsin Greg, how are you? Fisherman 506. Good evening.
Wait, Dad.
East coast of Canada. Must be cold up there, I bet. It's yeah, -5 here. Can we write a little somewhere else about milling and forging and stuff? Can we write a little somewhere. I'm not sure what you mean, not only wood. Like a blog or something? The channel Love to Boat 92 has milled a lot of small logs with a chainsaw mill. Oh, cool. Mikey Yo-Yo, awesome. Yeah, I like to watch Buckin. I've been watching him for, I don't know, 6 months or so. The kids watch him with me all the time. I've actually been able to, I've talked to him on the phone a couple times and
Yes.
through WhatsApp and stuff. Yeah, he's a cool guy.
Yes, he does.
Instagram, I do. I think I just, because I changed the name of my channel for anyone that's been here for more than the past month or so. My channel was DIY Dylan, and then I just kind of turned to focus more towards doing wood-related stuff because there's so much of it, and it's what I've been doing a lot. So it was called DIY Dylan, and now it is called Dylan's Woodworks. But I can probably, maybe I'll put a link out in one of these videos in the description. I think there may be a link on the main page of my YouTube channel up on the banner there.
Or you could just go to the website really quickly and put it in the chat right now.
Yeah, I could do that too, actually.
Yeah, Dad, I just have a question. This
Yeah.
stuff won't stick together. What should I do?
I would wait until you get all the right stuff to do it with.
No, it's like, it'll stay together if you add pressure to it.
We could play with it later or tomorrow.
Oh. I suppose I should just, like, need to, just, like, keep on mixing it.
Oh, here you go. Oh yeah, Wisconsin Greg. He makes a lot of axes. I actually ordered an axe from him. Oh, Ben, you watch Buckin too. That's cool. Yeah. Yeah, he's got a big following. His channel blew up. I started watching his videos. I think he was like at 8,000 or 9,000 subscribers. I think he's up to like 16 or 17 now. But yeah, I love his live streams are a lot of fun too. Pump it up energy wise. All right, yeah, Mikey, I'm reading your comment now. Yeah, pump up the energy. Yeah, I do need to do that. I had a lot more energy a few years back until I bought this house. Then, oh, Damon, how you doing, buddy? Yeah, so a few years ago I used to run marathons, and so I'd love to get back into that because I definitely had a heck of a lot more energy then. But yeah, I feel more tired the last few years, but yeah, I have a good time doing the videos and stuff. I've been kind of trying to focus on, I guess, the semantics of, setting up the camera and that sort of thing, and trying to make sure I get, good video and all that stuff when I'm recording, which definitely slows me down a bit. Towards the Woodland Mills HM122. I would think the HM122 would definitely be a better value over the Harbor Freight, I would figure. Oh, cool. Thanks, Not Only Wood. But yeah, lately I've been getting into doing a lot more woodworking in the shop. I got some projects clamped up here today. I glued up, and so hopefully I'll get some videos out on that soon. A couple fun projects. I get actually a project back here that's all cut up and just about ready for assembly, but that's been sitting there for at least a few weeks. In between doing everything else and the kids and the holidays, you
Get busy.
you'll have to get some vodka. Yeah, it's vodka.
Really?
I actually did put an axe together. I gotta get some vodka for that. I made my first axe. I'll show you grab that.
Is Liz still in the stream?
I did make a handle for another axe head that I got, but I made it out of oak just to try it out, and people were telling me it was probably gonna split and crack, and it did eventually. It held up fairly good for a little while, but after a while, from all the vibrations of hitting stuff with it, it eventually cracked and the head broke right off.
Do you have a hammer?
I think yeah, like I said, I get a friend who's does scrap metal, and I get a lot of these axe heads from him. This is one of the ones that I got from him. This was another one. Actually, the local hardware store has these handles, and they got some that are pretty twisted and messed up, but if I get down and pick through them, they actually have some really nice handles. So this one I put on. And it was a good thing I've been watching Buchan's channel, because I learned quite a bit about putting the axe head on. But it seems pretty good. It's nowhere near what he does, but it's sitting on there pretty good. I just got one of the regular metal wedges in there, and the wooden wedge that it came with. But I've took it out and banged it around pretty good, and it works well. Mostly using it in the garage right now to pick up some of the, taking some of the cordwood that we got in the house to split it up to make kindling out of it right now. Yeah, Woodland Mills are, their customer service is amazing. You know, they don't wait for you to go to them to complain. If they even sense that you're unhappy, they're reaching out to you. Negative 18 Celsius. Wow. Yep. Yeah, it's cold everywhere. Fill your tank with MR12 or the Holy Spirit for high energy. You'll go to sleep now. Hey, Lonely Woodford, thanks for stopping by, bud. Happy New Year. Happy New Year to you. Guten Rutsch. I don't even know if I'm saying that right.
Who's the guy at the truck stop?
That's Jeffrey.
Oh.
42. Yeah, that is warm. Yeah, I'd love 42 right now. I don't know, my internet's, hey. Good night, Ben. Happy New Year. I'm actually going to take a minute and I'm going to pull up, I forgot, I got to pull up my list of subscribers.
Oh yeah, we were going to do a subscriber shout out thing.
And just mention everybody that's joined us here in the past week. Let's see. So I think where I left off is, so as of Christmas Eve afternoon, I don't know if any of these guys are in here, but we got Chat Brewster, Ronald Petrowski. I think I may have mentioned him last week. And yes, Ohio Flint guy, that's you. Yep. And he has a channel as well. Some of these names I don't know how to pronounce. Matic Yellow Vankin, James Final. I'm sure I messed up Maddox's name. So sorry about that. Raylene Regent. And here's the Ohio Flint guy. I gotta check out his channel. I see he's got a channel and some videos out there. I want to go check those out. Mercia. John Hurt. Adrian Santi. Brian Gaskell. Charlie Carpenter. Let's see. Lost my place. J.W. Danks, Richard M. Smith, L.J. Hugh, Nivrat 1975, and today at 10:49 a.m. Forest to Farm. So yeah, thanks everybody for subscribing and for everyone who's been here. It's been a lot of fun. I love doing the videos and sharing stuff, and if there's ever anything I know I need to kick up the energy, that's definitely good feedback. But yeah, if there's ever any suggestions or anything you guys want to see that that you think I might be able to do here, any woodworking projects or sawmilling, firewood, I do a lot of DIY stuff around here too.
Oh, we should record
cool.
When we make.
So we get some other guys subscribed to
stuff.
Ohio Flint Guy. Yeah, you might be able to do that. But yeah, and Damon's in New Hampshire with us. He's experiencing the same fun cold weather we are.
I want to say fun.
And on New Year's, I'm experiencing a nice cold Harpoon IPA. So what are you guys all doing tonight to celebrate, other than hanging out with me?
Wait, I think that was the Coors Light commercial.
Oh, nice. But yeah, I want to start doing some more woodworking in here, especially with the cold weather. I brought in some slabs to keep me busy, so I'm gonna make some stuff with these. I got some pine slabs that are dry. One of the nice things about pine is it dries pretty quick. One of the things I have done a lot in the past, I haven't done much of it lately, is restoring old tools, old hand planes and chisels. Oh, stomach bug. Yeah, that's not a good time. That's about the worst thing when it comes to you know, like common sicknesses. Ugh, I hate stomach bugs. It's good that you're over it now, though. That's good. You went to a party, but you left. Yeah, I used to like to go to parties. Now I tend to like the quiet a little bit more. It's probably part of the low energy thing, though. But yeah, I definitely got to kick out that energy. I got my, I think I said earlier, or in one of my other videos, I got my treadmill. It's in the garage, which is really doing me no good. So I'm going to get that set up.
You could put it over there where you're...
No, I appreciate it, Mikey, definitely. I drink I do drink well, I guess not a lot of coffee, not as much as I used to. Drink a couple cups of coffee in the morning, and a lot of times I'll have like an energy drink late morning, early afternoon. But I think what I got to do more than anything is get back to exercise and running. When I was doing that, I was running marathons. I was running, 25, 30 miles. And then I'd, come back home and work around the house. Brother is over and oh, cool. Street Outlaw. I've never heard of that. Although I haven't watched a lot of TV lately. We actually just ordered cable for the first time in a couple of years.
Yeah.
And it's unfortunately I forgot to turn it on before New Year, so we're watching some live streaming New Year's Eve stuff
on YouTube.
Coffee makes IBS and other gut problems act up more. Yeah, coffee is not great. I'd like to switch to like tea, and I used to make my own smoothies, with kale and celery and cucumbers and fruit juices and things like that. and I used to be really into the all natural stuff. I used to do a lot of running, and I had an amazing amount of energy. I one time rode a mountain bike 5 miles up the side of a mountain as part of a race that I did, and that was one of the toughest races I've done. But I used to be, and that was about 75 pounds ago, and that just kind of came on the last few years. So, but yeah, I definitely gotta kick up the exercise. I think will make a big difference. And yeah, Mikey, I definitely appreciate the advice for sure. That's it's true. It's definitely true. Kale soup. That sounds good. Wish there was. Yeah, that'd be interesting to try. I have to check out a recipe for that. Kale's supposed to be really good for you. Celery, cucumber. There's actually a lot of vegetables that are full of protein too.
Kale's pretty good when it's like cooked.
Yeah, he likes kale when it's covered with oil and you put it in the oven and turn them into like chips and you put salt on them. They're not as healthy at that point, but Street Outlaws on the Discovery Channel. What's that show about? The last show I watched was that Forged in Fire, but I had to go onto like YouTube and stuff to download it. Use the treadmill in the garage to run. Yep, that's true. Or just go outside for a minute. I'll have to move really fast.
Yeah,
the treadmill's out there. I gotta get that thing out and assembled. I think just assembling it will give me a workout. But yeah, the tough thing about running, and I loved running, is the discipline and getting back into it and the time it takes. There's a lot of time that you invest, especially if you get into it really seriously like I was. There were days I would go out running for 4 or 5 hours. I would run, 20, 25 miles as part of like my training, and it takes up a lot of time. Chilling Out. So that's another TV show, I'm guessing. Oh, nice. That's great, Jeffrey, that's awesome. Kale is seaweed.
Oh yeah, Fortnite's a cool game too that a lot of people are playing. It's by. No, I was telling you.
Nice, 12 subscribers today. That's cool. Yeah, it's the sawmilling channels are just a fun to watch. Actually, if anyone in here hasn't checked out Jeffrey's channel, he's got some sawmilling videos on there. If you're looking for some new sawmilling content, I think this time of year there's probably less of it, especially because of the weather. There's the other channel that I was watching a lot of where they were doing sawmilling was Pure Living for Life. They just finished putting up their timber frame, so I think that sawmill is going to sit cold for a while. The Tradesman Channel 2017, I like watching his stuff because it's something I want to do in the next year or two, but I think that's one place that will really help me a lot if I get some good exercise in first, because that's going to be heavy lifting and a lot of work, but it'll be good. That's the kind of stuff I like to do. It's something that puts me to work, that gets me, my heart pumping and that sort of thing. Oh, you just started sawmilling, just got it assembled the week before it got cold. Have you had any trouble getting it started? Cause I used the oil that came with the mill when I got it, and I haven't changed it yet. And I think because of the type of oil it is, it's making it harder to start. Because I can even feel when I pull on it that it's harder to pull, and it probably has a lot to do with the oil that's in it. Trying to get it to crank. So that's probably like the first thing I got to do when I get back out there. I was just out in the yard today, or just about an hour and a half ago, and it's freaking cold out. Synthetic, okay. And synthetic should be good at running that all year round. Then I just gotta get Somebody was suggesting 5W20. So I might have to get some of that. I might even already have some of that in the garage. Oh, nice. 9 horsepower Subaru engine fired right up at 20 degrees. Oh, cool. Yeah, Christmas Eve was chilly.
Yeah, it's 3 degrees apparently where they're doing the ball drop.
Yeah, it must be really warm up there if you're wearing shorts and no shirt.
No, it's freezing.
My son Kyle. But yeah, I've had some of this stuff set up in here for a while. It's been a wicked mess in here until just recently when it got cold. It gave me an excuse to come in here and get it all cleaned up. It's not quite there yet, but I'm working on it. A lot of you guys out there do woodworking? You guys have shops? What sort of stuff you like to do? Took a while for it to warm up, I bet. Yeah, I have the same thing. Once I get mine running, it takes a while before you can put the throttle on it, or it'll just choke and die. Let's see. It's funny that sometimes says that. Just looking at the live stream thing, it's weird. It says there's unsupported resolution, but I get that all the time. I think it's the computer. So, but yeah, that's what we got going on. We had a good Christmas. Hope you guys had a good Christmas. We're buffering a little. Yeah, I was testing out my live stream stuff yesterday, and it wasn't working great, which is weird because we just upgraded our internet.
Yeah.
But the speed isn't what it's supposed to be, so they're supposed to come out next week to work on that. So I have to give them a call back when they're open, actually. But I can show you some of the other things I get a bunch of these. I'm actually starting to get a collection of axes. This is a plumb single bit. I don't know what this is. This one's been mashed up and beat up pretty good. The handles on both of these are been whacked around pretty good, so I got to get some new handles for these ones.
Oops.
But so these things will give me some practice. And then I got a couple double bit axe heads lying around that I gotta get handles for. I got this one that I just pulled out a minute ago, and I got another one in the garage. 2 cannibals eating a clown. One says to the other, "Does this taste funny?" What? The only thing on my mill that stinks it doesn't have is centrifugal clutch, so it's like engaging the blades on the wall. Oh, that's interesting. Did you get that?
But
2 cannibals eating a clown. You know what cannibal is?
like a person who eats other people.
Yeah. And then he's eating clowns, and then they say, "Does it taste funny?"
Oh, because clowns supposed to be funny.
Ah. So, but yeah, that's about all I got going on now. We just picked up some Chinese food for dinner tonight, and that was like a 2-hour wait.
Yeah, most places.
No,
don't.
they're in there watching the whole ball drop thing, and it's about 10 p.m. now here. So we got New Year's in a couple hours.
Yeah, we'll probably do that on our live stream thing.
And probably won't be doing any more stuff in the shop tonight. I got a bunch of stuff that I do want to do in here, though. I built this bench, actually, that the computer's sitting on here about 9 months ago, and I actually want to build a new one because I want to build something that's a bit heavier. This one's made out of just 2x4s that I got at the Home Depot, and I actually have a whole bunch of red oak that's all dry and ready to go. There were trees that I cut down on my property a few years ago, and I brought down to a local mill, and he milled those up for me, and I've had them drying, and so I got a lot of oak here. I got some beech that is ready to be used, so I got to turn that into something. I might actually use some of that red oak for a new bench. And I got a new vise for the bench that I want to put on. I want to put some dogs in it and stuff, because right now I'm just doing, I wish I had like my webcam working, I could show you, but right now I'm just like clamping stuff to my workbench in order to keep it in place while I'm trying to plane and that sort of thing. So that's kind of a pain. But one thing about woodworking in the winter though is you never run out of kindling for your wood stove, so it makes the fires a lot easier to start. Let's see. So I think the live stream seems to be having a little trouble. I know Damon was saying it's buffering. How does it look for everyone else? Does it seem alright? Yeah, some of the stuff that I'm working on for woodworking, this back here is actually it's actually a couple things that I have back here. These are some parts that I already made for a new plane till, since I have a bunch of planes that I've restored. I needed a place to put them. And I have a plane till now, and I have everything on in my shop is on a French cleat. So I got French cleats on the wall, and so this was my plane till initially, and so obviously it was only set up for 2, and I think I have a video on the channel of making this, but I have probably a dozen planes now. I don't really need all of them. I just kind of got them because I have fun restoring them, so I'm probably gonna, I don't know, sell some of them maybe. Yeah, mine has clamps on it, and actually move this, but mine's just got one clamp on it. I don't know if you can see that, but it's just one of them cheap like $20 clamps, and I picked up another one that's actually got the it's not an antique, but I got it at an antique shop, I think for like 25 bucks. It's normally like a $100 clamp, so this is what I want to use on the next bench that I build. This will be a much nicer one. Also thinking a leg vise might be a nice option, although I've never had one, so I'm not sure if it's something I'll use until I try it. But I like using antique tools. I got a bunch of brace bits, braces and bits. I picked this up on one of the Facebook groups. It's a full Irwin bit set. It's still got the original, the old box. Its hinges are kind of falling apart, but these are a lot of fun. I like using the old tools. I got my,
have the timer up on the screen.
Yeah, I thought that was a good clamp. The one that puts the holes in the table. Yeah. Yep. Yeah, so I'd have to put holes in the table for dogs to hold the piece in place. Right now, I just have been using this. See, I can probably unplug that. So I've been just doing this. I don't know if you can see that in the camera. This is my laptop I'm on, but I've been just clamping a piece of wood to the bench, and then like this is a piece I was working on today. It's actually the top for a kind of a rustic laptop stand, because I'll be sitting on the couch or laying in bed and using my laptop, and I usually just rest on a pillow or something. So this is going to be the top for a laptop stand that I'm working on, and then the legs to it over there, and the clamp. And then actually those clamps over there, you can see is a whole bunch of them. I got to build and there's actually a crate full of clamps on the other side of the room. So I do have to build a clamp rack too. So there's a lot of stuff. Tool storage is the big thing, and I'm always kind of reluctant to start building some sort of storage for tools. Oh, good. Thanks, Fisherman. Yeah, I'm never sure. Like, I'll do these live streams, and you know, since I'm not really watching myself, I mean, I have my phone I could watch it on, but I don't know how true it really would be me watching myself from the same connection. So I'm never really sure how good it's coming through. But yeah, I picked up most of those clamps. I picked up from a guy locally. I think he was in about his 80s, and he, for I think 40 or 50 years, he made wooden instruments, mostly I think cellos and things like that. And so he had like 20 or 30 clamps. Really, some of them are really unique too, that they've actually come in pretty handy. But I got that whole crate full of clamps, I think for like 50 bucks. So it was like maybe $2 a clamp, which was a really good deal. I like to buy most of my stuff used if I can. This was a draw knife. It's actually missing the handles. I gotta make some handles for it that I got in an old tool set from someone's great-grandfather. So I picked up his entire tool set for I think like 50 bucks, 40, 50 bucks. And this is razor sharp, and I know it is because I went to pick it up the other night and cut my finger about halfway to the bone. But it works well. It took me a while to put an edge on it because it was pretty beat up. The edge of it, you can't really see it as much now, but I don't know what they did to it. I don't know if they were hammering on it or what, but it was smashed on the edge pretty good. The metal was all folded over. So I had to take it to the grinder for a bit, and then I brought it into the shop and put it down on some low grit sandpaper. To bring it down the rest of the way. Oh, hey, good night, Ohio Flint guy. Thanks for coming by. I used the laptop stand that have a cooling fan. I was actually thinking, when I finished this one, I was actually thinking, I haven't used one of those, and it's a very good idea to do that. Actually, what I do for work is computer work. I'm a network infrastructure engineer, is what I've done for the last 15, 20 years. But yeah, cooling is really important. This laptop, I am not good with keeping it cool at all. But yeah, the ventilation is bad. Obviously, I mean, I always tell people you shouldn't be using a laptop on a pillow or a cushion or anything like that. And I do that a lot. You shouldn't put it on your lap, even though it's called a laptop, because the heat from your lap is going to heat up the laptop. Yeah, I want to make some handles for this. I'm going to have to, I don't know what I'll probably, I mean, I have so much oak here, I'll probably use oak. And since it's not going to be taking a beating, it's just going to be used for gripping, I'll make some handles for this, and probably just epoxy them on. I still have to grind, or not grind, but wire wheel the handles, because they're still kind of rusted. But I'm going to put this over here where I won't accidentally run my hand across it like I did the other night. There's another Stanley plane I restored. Most of these, when I got them, were all just like covered in rust. Even some of these chisels that I restored. This one's still not great, but oh, this one actually I need to finish restoring it. You can probably, I don't know if you can see in the camera, but it's got some pretty nasty chips in it. But had a mallet that I made, but I used it too roughly on the project I was working on and busted the head on it, so I have to make a new one of them. So that'll be probably another video I'll make, making a new mallet. I don't know if I'll make a new head or just a whole new mallet itself. The handle that I had, I'm surprised the handle didn't break before the head, because the handle you can see has some nasty knots in it. But this was the first mallet that I made, but this is held up well. I actually been using the handle now as a mallet instead of, can you see you can see the chips. Oh yeah, okay, yep. Yeah, the chisels, I got some that are pretty beat up. But I had tried using the grinder to restore some of the chisels in the plane irons, but the problem with the grinder is the wheel's round, so by the time you're done with grinding it down, you're kind of grinding a round edge into it. I actually have a chisel here where you can see that, or you may not be able to see it in the camera, the light here, but there's a dip still that still shows. It still works just the way it is because I sanded it down to mostly flat, but I learned by doing that using a grinder, a round wheel grinder, isn't the best way to do it. I find that using a piece of sandpaper works best. I actually like using this stuff. I can buy it by the roll, which is this adhesive sandpaper. So I'll take it and stick it to something flat in order to put a nice flat edge on an iron or even the sole of a plane to make the plane sole flat. You brad the end down on the handle. Brad the end down. I'm not sure what that means. One way for beginner sawmill owners to make money from yard trees or their own tree works is sell the boards to a local sawmill. Really? Turn a $1 log into $12 lumber? Huh, really? This is the draw knife that I usually use. This one actually already had handles on it and they're on there really good. I'm trying to figure out on the draw knife. I'm not sure what brad means. It's something I'm not familiar with. But in these handles, they're kind of like, looks like they're just kind of smashed into the wood. If you can shave the hair off your arm, the axe is not sharp. Oh yeah. Yep. That's a true test for all the tools. Put it on the glass. You know, it's actually funny you say that, fisherman, because what my laptop is sitting on is I went on Amazon and you can buy like flat, certified true flat pieces of granite to do this on, but they're expensive. You know, 50, 60 bucks for just a square piece of flat granite. I bought this flat glass cutting board. It's got rubber feet on it, so when you put it on the surface, it doesn't move around. And my thought is just put some, stick some sandpaper to this, and then I can run the tools or whatever across it, and it'll be flat. Make money for years was done. Okay. Yeah, I subscribed to Endless Mountain Woodworks. Yep. I'll have to check that out. That's interesting. But yeah, so that's my thoughts for this. I'm probably gonna put it, I don't know, I might put it down face flat. And I picked up some non-slip shelving liner. I'm gonna shut that cupboard door. It's doing, oh no kidding. Is that like a reflecting, something reflecting off of it, or it just bothers you that it was open, probably, right?
I got a fortune.
You get a fortune. What's your fortune?
Over. What's this word?
Over prepare, then go with the flow. That sounds like fun. Yeah, I got all these cabinets for free. That's what I've set up for storage in the shop for now. But at some point I'd like to, when I do the timber frame thing, hopefully, if I can get to that. I actually bought an extension for my mill, 6-foot extension that I want to put on it so I can mill timbers up to 16 feet long, so I can build some sort of timber frame. But when I do, it'd be nice to just have a whole separate shop, because one of the things, and you'll probably see on most of my woodworking videos, is I'm doing voiceovers more than I am talking during the video, because these guys, they're usually very loud, so trying to talk during recording my videos is a challenge. So what I'll usually do is record the voiceovers at night after everyone's asleep. So it's a lot easier to do that. But if I had my own shop, I wouldn't, you know, in a separate place, I wouldn't have to worry about that stuff as much. And I also wouldn't have to worry about using the power tools to waken everyone up at night if I want to do woodworking late at night. My grandfather, so Chris says, my grandfather draw knife, the steel goes all the way through the handle and it's hammered down. Okay, onto a steel cap. So that makes sense, because that's actually what this looks like. That's what I was thinking when I was looking at it. Or I cut my laptop power cord with it. Yep, now that makes sense. The end of these looks like some sort of cap on them, where it's been almost like you could actually just take the end and mushroom it down, put it into the thing. But so I'll probably have to get some caps, or maybe even make some for the other draw knife. But I love using a draw knife. One of the things I was just watching sorry for bouncing this piece of wood around. I still have to flatten it, obviously. Yeah, one of the things I want to work on making is a shaving horse. I was just watching the videos that the Tradesman channel did building his shaving horse, and that looked like a lot of fun to build, actually. So I'd like to make one of them. I got my draw knives. I got to put the handles on that other one. I like having spare extra tools, like duplicates of the same tool, and keeping them all sharp, because this way if you're working on something and your tool gets dull, you can just grab your spare, which is hopefully already sharpened, which is why I like to have extra planes around. I got my number 5, my number 4, and I can use these kind of interchangeably because they're pretty much mostly set up the same way. I got my number 6 that I restored. It's a Stanley Bailey. This one actually had a broken handle, so I took the handle off and I took a piece of oak and glued it onto the broken side of the handle, and then took it to the bandsaw, shaped it, and I should have recorded doing that, but it's fun restoring old tools. Do any of you guys do any like hand tool woodworking, or mostly like power tools? I got my whole power tool set up. Got my dust collection, which is the Harbor Freight dust collector. I got a Win Environmental 1/2 micron filter that I used to replace the bag that came with. And I got that set up with a Super Dust Deputy, so I have it as a 2-stage dust collector. And then in the bottom I ordered this 30-gallon plastic drum with a easy release locking lid to make that easy to just kick out the wood that's underneath it and pull it outside and dump it. But I haven't filled it yet since I've installed it. I do have to improve on my dust collection piping or tubing. I do want to run some PVC across the shop. And I also want to make something better to store my chains on for my chainsaw. Right now it's just nails in the wall. And my miter saw station, which actually works pretty well. Just built a box and I actually hooked up, hopefully the wireless doesn't kick out by doing this, but in the back I have the dust collection hooked up in the back, so then it puts suction on the miter saw, so as you're cutting with it, it just pulls all the sawdust and chips and everything into the back. Yeah, this number 6 works great. I mean, this one was pretty rusted up. It's got, I mean, I don't even think you'd be able to see it really in the camera very much, but it had very, very, very minor pitting on it. And then I just flattened it with some sandpaper, put a good edge on the blade. The iron was still really good shape. And what I usually do to get, if there's like really, really heavy rust on something, like this axe head, where it's just, a thick layer of rust, I'll set up like a vinegar bath and I'll just soak it in vinegar for 10-12 hours and then go over it after with the wire wheel, and hopefully that lighting isn't screwing you up. But then I'll actually I usually leave this wire wheel here on my drill press and then just kick that on, and I can go over to it with anything that's rusted and pretty much get all the rust off of it with it if it's not too bad. And again, if it is, I'll just soak it in some vinegar, and that works really well. I don't remember where I learned that trick from, but there's so many products out there that you can use for removing rust, but at like $1 a bottle, $1 a gallon for vinegar, that's about the most cost-effective way I could see doing it. There's an old wooden plane that I still need to restore. It's like a no-name. Yeah, it is a good feeling. I love turning these old tools, back into something usable again. And this one is, I think this one is. This was a Bailey, I thought. This one was from 1889. I actually restored this one. This one's all ready to go. I just need to actually still sharpen the iron on it, but it's got an oak base to it, an oak sole. And nice thing about the wooden planes is they're really easy to flatten because they're wood. So, the metal ones, they take a while because you got to try to take the material off. And with it being metal, it's obviously going to take a lot more work. But this one wasn't in bad shape overall when I got it. I mean, it had a lot of rust on it, but this was in great shape. And the nice thing about wooden planes too is if you got, a wooden plane that's even the wood's in rough shape, you can make a whole new sole for it. But this one was actually in really good shape. I restored the wood. I put a flat edge on all of it. The cool thing about flattening a wooden plane is you can actually use I use another known flat plane to flatten the wood down. The new official motto of Dylan's channel is I turn wood into things. Yeah. I'd like to do more of that. I enjoy doing the woodworking stuff, but my problem is I'm a bit ADD, so when I get out here to start working on something, I see something else, and it's like my attention gets veered off, and then I don't finish what I'm working on. But yeah, that's one thing I got to do better at, is kind of planning my time in the shop when I come out here. What's up, goofball?
Showing them my hat.
This is another really old plane. I don't know. This one again I don't think have any maker's marks on it. This one is one that it's It's got the wooden wedge in it, and it's got the chip raker, and it does have some names on it here. But this was one that I got out of that old tool set. The lady sold me her great-grandfather's old tool set. Welding artist, Kevin Karen. I'll have to check that out. I do welding when I need to. I do like doing it.
Like for my go-kart?
Actually kind of put together I got an old horse trailer that I got from a friend of mine that the top's cut off and turned it into like a trailer to pick up logs with. I mounted a 8,000 pound winch. I'll have to do a video and show that at some point. I do want to build a log arch on it like Matt Cremona has on his, and then it'll pretty much be done, except for some touch-up stuff and reinforcing that I got to do on it. But I've picked up logs that are as big as like 4 foot in diameter with it. The only trouble I have is getting the log, once I get it pulled up to the trailer, lifting that end of it and getting it up onto the trailer to pull it on, which is where that log arch will come in handy. Oh, hey Butch. 2 Dillon families in Nashua. That's funny. Yeah, my mother and sister live in Nashua. Yeah, Matt has a cool setup. His mill is crazy. I wanted to build my own mill, but there was just no way. I mean, I barely find the times, a lot of times, to do, you know, the milling I do and the woodworking I do as it is and the projects. I just can't even imagine the time it would take to build one, which I think would be a lot of fun, and you obviously get a lot more bang for your buck, because I think he said he spent like $10,000 to build his mill, and he can cut, I think, stuff up to 5 or 6 feet wide. A trucker for 25 years. Yeah, I heard trucking's a lot of fun when you first start, but I guess that it gets old after a while. Kevin Karen artist, I'll check that out. So he does art with welding. That sounds like fun. There's so many different things you can get into and do. And one of the things I've had to try to learn is kind of focus on just, you know, a few things. I try to do too much and then I spread myself thin. I did some modifications and stuff on his go-kart. Oh, that's cool. Yeah, I would love to do that someday. I mean, I started working with computers, you know, almost 20 years ago, and at first it was cool and fun, but I prefer working with my hands and doing stuff like that. You know, it's funny, people look at my hands and they don't believe that I work with computers, because I spend every spare minute doing something and usually hurting myself. Or like Damon says, burning something down. But yeah, I would love to be able to do stuff like this full time. Even just the idea of, you know, mixing it up, and, you know, I can go out and pick up logs for free. I've never paid for logs. I can go pick up logs for free all the time. I got my trailer just about set up for it once I get that log arch on it. I could do firewood, sell lumber, do woodworking, you know, stuff like that. But, you know, that's down the road if it ever works out. For now, I just do it part-time. I do sell some of the wood from the mill. I don't advertise it a whole lot, but that's definitely true for me. That's for sure. The job's not done until you bleed on it. That's true for most of the projects I work on, that's for sure. And these guys can tell you.
Uh-huh.
That's why they say blood, sweat, and tears. That's usually true on most of the projects. you know, you get so focused on working what you're working on and have a passion for what you're doing, and the bleeding doesn't bother me so much. I've gotten used to it now. I actually have some splatter on the floor over here from the other day.
Yeah.
That draw knife's sharp. Another thing I really like doing is doing.
You're a vampire.
What's that?
You're a vampire. Mikey Yo said.
Job it. Butch, you're a vampire? This was a limb from a beech tree that I cut down. I just kind of was fooling around one night with the draw knife and put this little branch in my vise and just made a little cane out of it.
I thought it was a walking stick.
Or a walking stick, I should say, yeah. But I still got to sand it down a little bit and probably put a finish on it so it's not getting all nasty and dirty. You attract them, yep. It's like attracting sharks. That's why I shouldn't be swimming in the ocean. Yeah, another thing I gotta do is find a better place to store my lumber. What's your name?
What?
Mr. Yo-Yo is asking what your name is.
Oh, Ryan.
Ryan.
Yeah.
Ryan's got his own YouTube channel too. He likes to do gaming.
Yeah.
His channel's Game Slugger. One of the people that follow him actually follow my channel. She was just on here earlier.
Yeah, I don't post very often now since my computer doesn't work.
Yeah, I gotta fix his computer. But there's my lumber storage, which looks great. It worked great for a while. But the problem with this is...
It whacks you in the head if you shut the door too hard.
Yeah, you can't come out of the garage into this room and slam the door, because if you do,
It hits you in the head.
you get whacked in the head with a big piece of oak.
Dong on the floor.
6 long years and then your land's paid off. Oh, nice. That's awesome. Yeah, I got about 12 years before this place is paid off. And then I actually just bought a piece of land next door, like a little over 2 acres. That's where I want to build my next workshop.
I think
Becoming a homesteader. Have you ever done any like homesteading type stuff, or is anyone in here? I'm sure a lot of you guys probably have. But we last year I broke my leg, which kind of botched everything we were doing. We raised pigs. We had about 50 chickens. We had like a half a dozen pigs. We had 8 or 10 turkeys, probably 20 or 30 rabbits. What else do we have? Goats.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, Moorland is definitely Ryan pulls good faces. But yeah, that land next door is going to be handy because is that what happened to your wife with the wood you need to fix? Yes. Yes. Yep. Yeah, that's the wood that's up there now isn't moving around, but I took all the stuff down that was falling down above that door. So, but yeah, I thought I mean, it seemed like a great place for a lumber rack, but you know, because it's such a big wall. The ceilings in here I think are 10, 11 feet up, and so the wall there was just one big empty space. So it seemed like a great place to store lumber, but unfortunately it's one big non-load bearing wall. So when the door is shut, that whole wall vibrates, and didn't realize that until some wood came down. So I definitely got to change that. I'm probably just going to move all the lumber downstairs into the basement and just stack it. It'd be a lot easier. Yeah, happy wife, happy life. Yeah. Yeah, I think if she gets hit with another piece of wood, she'll probably hit me with a piece of wood while I'm sleeping. Rehabbed the 1900 farmhouse so that I could raise my boys on a farm. Nice. That's awesome. Yeah, I'd love to do that. I actually grew up in the city. I grew up just outside of Boston and been in New Hampshire for close to 20 years, and I love it. We're up in this kind of central part of New Hampshire, and it's nice and quiet, surrounded by mostly farms and woods. So I love it out here. We had 2.5 acres here, and a lot of land next to us became bank owned, and then they put it on the market, and then eventually I saved up some money, and then I basically offered them like half of what they were looking to get for the land. And after about a month of them thinking about it and having to, think about paying taxes and everything on it, they decided they would just take it. So, but yeah, 40 acres is awesome. The last house we owned, we had 9 acres, but unfortunately that was like a mountainside, so it was all just like granite and really unusable. It was all just hilly and rocky. There wasn't even much you could do with it. But here it's a lot better. We have much more widespread. And actually, since we just got to put the new septic system in, we had to excavate to put the leach field in. We have like a nice big field down there now, so it's pretty sweet. And I know the kids love that, so I'm gonna have to get some grass planted down there where the mill is and all that stuff out there. All that stuff's gonna have to get moved to the other property come like the summer, because that's like our yard. We just had a tiny yard here, but after I had to do all that clearing, we got a big wide open space. So I want to move all my stuff over to that other piece of property. So this is more of kind of like our family's, land where our house is, and kind of the place to hang out and leisurely stuff. And I'll put all my kind of toys and stuff over there, and hopefully build a workshop to put it all next to and inside of and all that. And take it from there. That's the plan, but things can change. I don't even know, I don't have plans for it yet, or how I'm gonna do it. But I got my backhoe now, so I got a way where I can go over there and make changes to the land and level things out, so I can prepare to do a lot of that stuff. But that's gonna be fun. We I have about acre, but my backyard is White Mountain National Forest. Oh yeah, that's right where you were at. That is cool though. Yeah, having the backyard be your forest is great. One of the things nice about having, being surrounded is by like state or federal owned property is, especially if it's not in use or conservation, is you got all of that woods that you can go out and trek on or hunt on or whatever, and you're not having to pay the taxes for it. My friend paid 300 grand for 25 acres of peat bog, hardly grows grass. Wow. Yeah, I think there's a lot of land in our town here now. I think 30-acre lot for sale for like 40,000. Which is something I'd like to do, is if I can get like 30, 40, 50-acre lot and build a timber frame home, or even just a small, tiny house. Because the smaller the house is, the easier it is to maintain. Out in the property, and then be able to do whatever I want with it, have a nice private area, that sort of thing. But we had all of our animals here. I have to finish tearing down the pig pen and the turkey coop. We sold the chicken coop and the rabbit hutches and all that stuff, so we cleared out this side over here, so we have a yard now. And so my plan for that property next door is, if we're going to do homesteading again and have animals again, we'll put them over there, because then company doesn't have to see a mucky poopy pig pen and stinky animals and all that. We can keep them over there. Having the backhoe will make it a heck of a lot easier to process some of the animals too, because I would have to make some sort of, I actually had a pickup truck that I took the bed off of and built a platform on with a winch, and built a hoist in order to dress out the pigs and that sort of thing. 36,750 for my 10 acres rolling hills in the back half. Oh wow. That sounds nice. That sounds like a great lot. Yeah, we have about 4. There's sandy soil. Nice thing about sandy soil is it drains out, but yeah. What did you do?
I flew in sword things.
Well, say you're sorry.
Okay.
28 horses. Oh, buying hay, yeah. Yeah, I hear buying hay is expensive. We've bought hay for some of our animals, but you know, just buying small. Time to separate the kids. It's actually more like separating my teenage son from his mother. He sometimes feels adventurous and tries to do stuff to get on her nerves. But yeah, speaking of wild animals. So, but yeah, that's you know, gives you an idea of the stuff. I got a whole bunch more stuff to do and go over and think about. This room here actually was a family room when we first bought the house. The house was we didn't know it, but we bought the house and we had to renovate it because the house was infested with black mold, the entire house. That's why, I don't know if you can see some of the walls. They're kind of like half-finished drywall. There used to be a door over there, but from all the rain coming off this part of the roof, it rotted out the sill and all that stuff over there. So we had to put a wall there because there was just no having a door there. It's just water coming in here.
We used to call it the red room. Because it had red
Yeah, the
walls.
problem being male, we agitate the women folk and have no clue. Yep. Yeah, I have the same problem. I when she's coming home, I have to try to figure out, you know, if I'm doing something that she doesn't like so I can stop. I don't want to get yelled at. But yeah, this house was, that's what, these other walls here are the same way. They're cut like halfway up the wall and the drywall was replaced. And then this was actually not the worst part of the house. The worst part of the house was the main living area, the kitchen, living room, dining room, bedrooms, bathrooms. All that we had to rip every single strip of wall, floor, ceiling. All the walls were gone. We had to strip the whole house, all the cabinets, the whole bit. And I filled like 2 30-yard dumpsters with house. And so that took like a couple months just to renovate. That was not fun because we didn't plan on doing that. We bought the house figuring it was move-in ready and we were all good, but that wasn't the case. So yeah, I know they're my 2 younger kids and my wife's in the other room.
Laying on the couch.
Laying on the couch watching the New Year's thing. The Milky Bar Kid. Who is the Milky Bar Kid? Do you want me to look it up or are you scared?
Oh, look it up. And that's funny because I was eating a piece of chocolate.
Oh, yep.
Let's see a picture.
Here's a video. Nestle's Milky Bar Kid. I don't...
Is that him?
No.
That kid?
I would have to assume that was him.
That kid?
There you go. You don't have a gun though. You need a gun.
One minute.
The Milky Bar commercials. I've never seen those. How old are those commercials? I remember Mikey likes it because I used to get told that Mikey likes it. Yeah, we were just talking about old commercials. It's funny too because I was actually just talking about oil commercials for my wife's father passed away last year, and yeah, there was this old tool, and actually I'm curious. You guys, a lot of you guys probably know what this is, but I didn't. So I'll see if anyone can guess. If anyone knows what this is. When I found out, it reminded me of the commercial's not that old, or this. Yeah, there you go, Chris. That's exactly what it is. So, yeah. See, I didn't know what it was. You know, and like I was saying, I wouldn't recommend doing that.
Why?
Because if you're going to hit something that you shouldn't.
Like what?
I don't know, go in the garage and do it.
It's cold out there.
Right. Yeah, so, you know, obviously by the time I was opening oil, I didn't need to use these, but I have seen the oil cans, but obviously never seen anyone use an oil can opener before. 70s, yeah. See, I was born in the 70s, so, you know, it's funny, I went online and I was asking a group, I still put a picture of this up, and I was asking a group of people in a tools group, asking them what it was, because it was in my wife's father's garage, and he built his house in the 70s, so that would make sense why he would have one of those. The Milky Bars are on you. All right, send me one. You want one?
Yeah.
All right, Ryan wants one too. You used one when I was in the 5th or 6th grade at home for the lawnmower. Okay. Yeah, by the time I was in the 5th or 6th grade, I wouldn't imagine they had these, or these were needed at that point. From my reading, I think they were only used, like Damon said, in the 70s, and by the early 80s, I don't think they were even used anymore. So I never had to use them, and I don't remember ever seeing one, although I've probably been around one. Changing oil in the cars, yeah. Yeah, I mean, I'm sure people, like other adults and stuff around me, were using them at one point, but I never had to use one myself. But it's funny, a lot of people knew what it was, and I didn't. But it's interesting because a friend of mine who lives in town here, he has a shop in town. The guy got all these like axe heads and some of these old tools from.
I'm not sure very well.
He runs into stuff. Well, not. I mean, obviously this isn't as unique as I thought it was, but he runs into some interesting things that I've never seen before. I actually picked up.
I didn't shoot.
We couldn't figure out what this was.
Oh, it looks like 2 axes combined.
Looks like an axe, but they're thin.
And they spin.
And the middle, there's a middle one, but it doesn't have a face on it.
Remember when the...
There was only one oil filter wrench. Yeah. Yep. I actually have one in the garage. And now they have them for like very specific oil filters. But yeah, I don't know what this is. It's got a bolt going through it with a wing nut holding it. I don't know how old it is, but it was in a toolbox that I picked up from.
I know what this is.
I think it was like the early 1900s, but this may or may not be that old. Oh, that's a good idea. I like that idea. Hey Ryan, come here.
What?
I needed to adjust your attitude. I think this part would be the best for that, right?
No.
And then I know what this is, but I'm sure you guys do. Probably hard to see in here, but
Walk, 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 walk.
a hammer and a screwdriver. I don't know what's a screwdriver. So obviously this is you. I don't know if anyone can see this well, but I'm sure most of you guys know what that is. It's a saw set. So I have a bunch of old hand saws that I want to restore, so I think that'll come in handy for that. This was interesting, and I don't know if the person who had it bent it or if it was made bent like this, but it looks like an old 4-way. This part here is busted. So this was in the old toolbox.
I want to see if I can bounce it off the wall and catch it. I'm not being annoying here. How am I being annoying?
Got some old levels that were in it. Old wooden levels. So these are pretty cool. I don't know that they're flat anymore, but I could flatten them. So I think those would be cool to have. I got a whole bunch of these now, so you can actually pick them up pretty cheap. Wheel brace spider.
Ooh.
There could be some spiders in here. I don't know. Oh. You talking about this? It's funny, it's all like twisted and stuff. I've never seen a 4-way like that. I thought that was interesting. Wheel brace spider. I'm assuming you're referring to this. And then I believe this is meant to put like brace bits in to use by hand, because it looks like they would fit in there. So that was I don't know how this would be used, but obviously needs some oil. A wheel brace. That's a wheel brace. How would that work? I'll have to look that up. Tap handle. Oh, okay, yep. Oh, yeah. Duh. Yeah, it's funny that you say that because I actually have a tap. Yeah, there's my tap handle. So that makes sense. I should have figured that one out. Long pipe on the end will bend the 4-way. Different sizes for different wheels. Oh, yeah. Probably just cheap steel and abused 4-way. Yeah, I recently broke a 4-way trying to get the wheels off my Jeep to replace the brakes. Let's get some old rusted files. But this is the this is the toolbox that I got. Like
Oh, it's gonna hold it up for it.
so it's got like looks like a place for someone to hold their some other tools here, and it looks like a place to store your chisels. And this was from, this is like I was saying, from that woman's great-grandfather. So there were some interesting tools in here, some
Oh, that's cool.
that tiny little clamp, and some stuff that I could never, this looks like it,
What's this
some
thing?
sort of axle thing. So that was interesting. I don't know. That looks like a part to a, almost like a part to a wood stove. Or something, a machine, where it turned and crushed
What's that?
something. Piece of metal. Oh, watch out. You can look on that. But yeah. Coal grate. Okay, yeah, that's what I was thinking. It was like for a coal stove.
He just. I didn't think he had a coal stove.
Oh yeah. The bracing bit, I'm definitely, this I'm definitely familiar with. I got one that I'm in the middle of restoring over there that was in pretty rough shape. And I still have a bunch of hand planes I can restore. The plane, boss, the plane. So I still have all these I gotta restore. An old Dunlap. This one I had restored, but unfortunately I foolishly left it in the garage, and it's not as bad as it was when I got it, but it's rusted again, so I gotta fix it. This is an old Stanley Handyman. And I think this one was in that toolbox. This one doesn't have any manufacturer on it, but it's definitely an older plane for sure. But yeah, like I think it was Dave who was saying, it's fun to restore these old tools. I like the older tools because they always seem to just have much better steel in them. I did just do a well, I just recorded the video for this, but I just sharpened this. This is a set of chisels from Harbor Freight, which were actually only $10 for a set of 6. So I wasn't really expecting much, but surprisingly they work well. But you can tell when you're sharpening these things, but that the steel is really soft. So I don't expect they're going to hold an edge super long, but when you sharpen them, they're still pretty usable. But I got like 20 or 30 chisels, so I keep them all sharp once they wear out. You know, once they dull, I have other ones sitting around that are already sharp. Yeah, it's funny nowadays when you want to get a good tool. You know, they say go to Lee Valley, you can get Veritas or Lee Nielsen, you know, woodworking tools, and it's just ridiculous how much they cost. You go to buy like a hand plane, it's like $400 or $500, and you know, it's like a single hand tool. I also do a lot of stuff with power tools, but a lot of times I'm limited because usually the time I get to do woodworking is a lot of times late at night. So a lot of it I end up doing with hand tools because it's quiet and it doesn't create a lot of dust or anything like that because my workshop's in the house. So it makes it a challenge because I don't get stuff done as fast as I would like. But at the same time, I do like working with hand tools. But a lot of these projects that I'm working on, I like to get them done a little bit quicker. So I do kind of mix it up a bit. Like the laptop stand that I'm working on, I did a mixture of hand tools and power tools in the process of working on it. But I think that's going to come out pretty decent. That was I'm probably going to, I have some USB powered fans that I think I'm going to put in it. But this is right now glued up the side kind of leg to it. And this I did all by hand. This was old cedar decking. And just planed it all down and joined it glued it up, and I just gotta probably sand it down, and then I gotta cut it the way I want it. I'll probably use the table saw to finish that up, just because it'll be a heck of a lot easier. Anyway. Oh, hey, good night, Damon. Have a good night. Great New Year, and thanks for stopping by and coming in. I'll see you soon. We used 8-way wheel braces. That's why we called them spiders. Oh, okay. Quality, the bendy coal crate ones come later. Okay. Speaking of noise, many years ago, my late grandmother fired up the rototiller at 7 a.m. Oh, yeah. I bet that went well. Yeah, I know my neighbors pretty well. My neighbor across the street, he's far enough away that he really doesn't hear anything that I'm doing up here. My neighbors on the other side over here, they're closer. And as far as stuff that's right next to the house, they can't really hear that well. But my sawmill is probably 300 feet, 400 feet from their house. So if I get that running early enough in the morning, that'll probably get their attention. But they're usually up, I think, at around like 7 a.m. And then my neighbors on the other side, you have to actually walk 300 or 400 feet before you can even see their house through the woods. So I don't have to worry about them. The only things that have ever really bothered our neighbors is the animals when we had them. We had remember the pigs got loose?
Oh yeah, and this tiny little one.
That was bad.
Walked into their garden. They freaked out. The police came over.
Oh yeah, one of our pigs, the piglets, got loose and got into my neighbor's garden. Yeah, I'll read that in a minute. We had a couple of bigger ones that were about 300 plus pounds each, and the two of them, male and female, got out. And I built the newer pig pen that we have now, which actually I'm tearing apart, but the pig pen we had before it, I was trying to move them from one to the other, and I built like a path with some pallets and electric fence wire, and one of them touched the electric fence wire, kind of flailed and freaked out, and knocked the fence that I built over, and then the pigs got loose. Then they started down my driveway. My driveway's a few hundred feet long. They got to the end of the driveway, started down the road, and that scared the crap out of me because those little, or not little, but those animals are like four-legged excavators. It only takes them a few minutes to tear up a yard or a garden. Getting started on homesteading. Hey, how you doing? Welcome. Thanks for stopping by. Happy New Year. Yeah, I was actually just talking about homesteading stuff. But yeah, they got out and down the road, and luckily my neighbor who lived across the street at the time had dealt with pigs that had gotten loose before, so he came running out of his house when he saw them because he knew they could definitely cause some damage. And he come out and grabbed some sticks and starts hitting the ground and making noise, and we got them back up the driveway, and then he kind of went back home. But the milky. Oh, okay, I didn't know that, Mikey. Oh, sorry. Yeah, I didn't know that. Huh. I'll have to look into that Milky Bars thing. But yeah, the pigs, they got out. We got them back up the driveway, and when we got them to the front of our property, back where the pig pens were, they just were not going back in. I actually grabbed one of them, grabbed its tail and wrapped my legs behind its hind legs and tried to hold on to it to try to, I don't know what I was thinking, but the thing weighed about 100 pounds more than me. And I grabbed onto it and it dragged me down the driveway through a bunch of brush and everything. And, I was like probably 200 pounds at the time. and that thing pulled me like I wasn't there. So those things were strong. Unfortunately, I had to put one of them down because I just couldn't get it back into the pen, and it's a huge liability if it got loose into somebody else's property. When we had rabbits, we had a couple of rabbits got loose once in a while and ended up in the neighbors' gardens. But yeah, we've never had any issues as far as noise goes, that's for sure. Except for maybe when we're, we got a little shooting range in the woods out back. So, we'll go shooting out there sometimes, and, obviously wouldn't be doing that super early in the morning. But yeah, as far as noise in here, I stick with mostly hand tools as much as I can. One thing I don't really like doing is cutting anything with a saw by hand, just because I never have a perfect straight cut. And a lot of people probably don't, and then you got to kind of clean it up and straighten it up with a chisel or a hand plane and that sort of thing. And that's kind of where my patience kind of veers. But as far as using like a chisel or a hand plane to kind of carve things or straighten things out, I don't mind that too much. But otherwise, I enjoy doing the power tools. Most of the woodworking I've done before the past year has been like building stuff. I still have to rebuild our front porch and that sort of thing. But so what do you guys all have for like shops? Do you guys have a shop set up, or have you guys all gotten into woodworking? Obviously, getting started on homesteading. Does homesteading? Any of you guys do any homesteading, raising animals, garden, that sort of thing? I've never, until I was here, I never really did any of that. I couldn't grow anything in a garden. Now we have gardens every year. Never even had a pet dog before living here, and now we have 2. And then, like I said, all the animals that we had on the homestead. But so it's definitely a change, a switch from living in the city. But I would never trade to go back. So how's everyone doing? Does the live stream still look okay? Jaden, the master of streams. What's going on, Jaden? Hope you're having a good New Year's Eve. Any of you guys watching the Rockin' Eve or Times Square stuff? So I know that's what they're doing in the other room. Oh, Jaden, you're new. New to the chat? Welcome. So Jaden, what sort of stuff do you do for fun and that sort of thing? Who cares about Rockin' Eve? Yeah. Oh, new to the channel. Oh, awesome. Yeah, welcome. I'm glad you're here. Yeah, I used to love watching the Rockin' Eve growing up and that sort of thing. But yeah, I don't really even watch a whole lot of TV. Actually, we didn't even have cable for quite a while, until recently. I watch TV on YouTube. Yeah, I watch mostly YouTube. So Jaden, you're subscribed to the channel recently? Is that what you were saying? And I was doing kind of like I want to do this every Sunday, is do like shout outs and mention the new subscribers that have joined, which I think is a pretty cool thing. Obviously, I've seen other channels do it, Buckin, and obviously he's not doing that as much now because he's got a lot more subscribers. But it's something I like doing. I just kind of acknowledge and mention the new subscribers, especially the guys who have channels and stuff. I like to jump over there and check channels out, and anybody who has a channel that looks decent, looks like they're making an effort and having fun with it, I like just to mention it, and at least people can jump over and check it out. Plan on a timber frame. Oh, cool. That's awesome, Chris. Yeah, I'm hoping to do it in like the next year or two. In the spring, I'm gonna probably have to get a collection of logs, but I'm gonna have to come up with some sort of plan. Before I do, I picked up a few books on timber framing, and I've been watching a lot of YouTube channels on people who do timber framing. There's actually a couple of workshops. One in that Jim from the Tradesman channel told me about, in I think Connecticut, he said, that looks. Yeah, Jaden, I'll definitely check your channel out. There's a timber frame woodworking workshop in Connecticut, from what I was told, that that looked pretty inexpensive, and it looked like it was quite a bit of information. Oh yeah, and I've seen you there too. Yep. Yeah, Jim's cool. I love watching his videos. One of my favorite channels to watch. Down to earth and works hard, and very determined, doesn't give up. Great attitude. I definitely like watching his channel a lot. Family guy. And he's got a homestead and works full time and that sort of thing. But Jaden, I don't know how you found me. I'm guessing by the Mario picture. Some video game thing. Yeah, I want to do a timber frame.
Wait.
A timber frame workshop, but I want to do some smaller timber frame projects, I think, first. I've thought about just, whether I could use it or not, which I probably could. Probably build like a medium-sized one. A shed, like a storage shed, place to put stuff for the winter, because I did, I think our garage in this room would be handy for that, but just so I can get some practice, I think it would be good to build a timber frame shed to start, just to kind of get, my feet wet with it and get a feel for it and test out kind of a lot of things that I've learned and researched. There are some timber frame workshops, like I was saying. There's one in Connecticut that Jim mentioned, and then there's another in Maine that, what's their names? Jesse and I forget the lady's name, on Pure Living for Life. That was the timber frame workshop that they went to over in Maine. And that's only just a few hours from here. So I thought about checking those out, but I want to do, a bunch of research and reading first to, try to do as much as I can on my own without first spending money on a course. Alyssa, that's right. Need to lengthen our mills 10 foot. Yeah, 10 foot is too small. Mine's 10 foot now. I ordered and I bought, and I've already received it. An extension. The Shelter Institute, that's right, Jeffrey. Yeah, that's in Maine. I think it was like, if I remember it, I think it was like a couple $1,000s for that class. And I think the one down in Connecticut was just like a few hundred, so. But yeah, my mill, I ordered a 6-foot extension for it, so I'm looking forward to setting that up, but I got it like just before it started snowing and the ground freezing. So I didn't even bother setting it up. It's kind of silly. I bought it, and now it's going to sit there in my shed out there for all winter, not being used. It was kind of an expensive thing. I think it was like $450 for an extension. I searched on the live subscribers and then was scrolling down and I saw... Oh, cool. Thanks, Jaden. Yeah, I'll definitely check your channel out.
We can, when we go to his channel page and see what kind of videos he posts.
Yeah, grab your phone, or you can do that. Shelter would be a great class to take. Yeah. My mill extension lets me do 16 feet. Hey, alright. You shut that door. I thought about making my own mill extension, speaking of working with metal and that sort of thing, but I was going to have to drive somewhere to get all the steel. I was going to have to kind of come up with a plan and take all the measurements, and go do all that and then bring it back here, put it all together, take in consideration the log clamp, the alignment of all the, the log dogs and stuff. And again, like I said, I don't always have a whole lot of time, so sometimes it just makes more sense buying something that's already ready to go. Like I was saying with the sawmill, it would have been awesome to build my own, but hopefully the light's not messing with anyone. I got a bunch of, I don't know if you've seen it on any of the times I turned my laptop, but the way this room is lit up, it's just a bunch of those fluorescent shop lights. And there's 6 rows of them in here. So it might be kind of bright. If I need to adjust the lights, I can. But yeah, Ben's mill is on like those footings, the sonotubes. So that, I mean, you get those dug down below the frost line, and those won't shift at all. So that's probably a good way to go. I actually have an old camper frame. I think it's like 20 foot, 24 foot, down in the lower part of my property that I got for like $100. That's dual axle, has brakes and all that in it. It's actually in pretty decent shape. The tires are, dry rotted or whatever. They still hold air. It was towed here. So I want to use that to put my mill on, to be able to take it mobile and be able to move it around the property and that sort of thing. I think that would be a nice thing to have. This way, if I want to either move it to a different part of the property or bring it somewhere to mill for someone else, because that's one of the biggest questions I've had. I've sold lumber online, I've sold slabs online, and one of the questions I get a lot is when people see my ads, is they ask if I could come out and mill logs that they've cut down. And obviously I can't do that. So I know if Woodland Mills came out with a trailer, when I look at it, people that have used it say it's decent, but it comes in a box and you have to assemble it. I don't feel super confident that that's going to always stay perfectly straight or flat. Yeah, fisherman. Yeah, half a year spare time to build. Yeah, and I wasn't ready to. I just don't think that's a project I would have started and finished. Let's put it that way. Yeah, I know my limit for patience and time, and it would have been awesome to do, but I just don't think it's something I could have done. Jeffrey, your frost line sucks. 6 foot. Oh wow. Yeah, ours is like 3 or 4 feet here. So we still have to go for somewhat deep, but it's not too bad.
42 minutes.
But having to go 6 feet, that would be terrible. Yeah, no frost line where Chris is at, that's for sure. Actually, that was how I found yours and Ben's channel, searching to see if anyone else uses sonotubes. Oh, that's interesting. Okay. Yeah, that would be, I mean, if I was going to keep my mill stationary and it wasn't going to leave where it's sitting now, and I knew for sure where it was going to be forever, I would do something like that, either the sonotubes or a slab, something like that. But I just know me, once I put something in one place, I'll change my mind where I want to put it, which is why everything in here is on casters with the exception of this hand tool workbench. But everything else in here is all on wheels. Well, this bench and this bandsaw. But the drill press, the miter saw, the table saw, my assembly table over there, everything's all on wheels. Because I just know when I put something in a place, a lot of times I decide to change my mind and put it somewhere else, which is also why the French cleats are handy, because I can move things around. You alright?
No, I was just moving it so I could sit.
Oh, yeah. So, yeah, I figured putting it on a trailer would be good. Normal winter is 4 foot frost line. Yeah, so I would imagine if it gets colder than your normal winter, the frost line would go a bit deeper. Although, I guess the cold weather, a couple things I wanted to do. I never really was a fan of the winter, except for say maybe back when I was a kid and you build a snowman or go sledding and that sort of thing. That you know, as an adult, never been a big fan of the winter because you know you got to push the snow around, get it out of your way. You want to try to do stuff outside, and it just becomes a pain. So some of the things that I've wanted to get into to kind of change my outlook on winter is get a snowmobile, which I thought about getting this year, but I just think with everything I have going on right now, I probably wouldn't have time to ride it, which would become frustrating, so I'm just not going to bother. So maybe next year. I got a whole ice fishing setup, so I thought I might like to try doing some ice fishing, although I may try it and hate it and never do it again, but I figured, you know, if you don't try, you don't know. My problem too, I got the mill in my backyard, but I got 40 acres. Yeah. You been drinking?
No.
But yeah, now that I'm over 40, I now understand why my dad was so grumpy about the same age with the cold. Yeah.
The chair thing pulled me frontwards.
Play with your feet.
No. You told me.
Yeah, as I'm gotten older, I don't like the winter. My joints don't like it. My shoulder bothers me. I had knee surgery about 5 or 6 years ago, so my knee definitely bothers me in the winter. And now that I broke my leg last year, just above my ankle, that's another thing that the weather definitely, I can feel the difference, especially when I'm jumping down from the backhoe and landing on it. That doesn't help. Here is easier for me to do. Yeah, and the warm weather is nice too, I'm sure. I wanted to move to a warmer place when these guys were younger, but they enjoy the winter and the changing seasons. My wife does, and all of our family's around here, so it makes it a little bit harder. $350 for your 76 Arctic Cat Jag snowmobile, runs perfect, almost zero suspension. Yeah, and I mean, if I'm gonna run, it's kind of the same idea with when I had my motorcycles. If I'm gonna run a snowmobile or a motorcycle or anything like that, it's gonna be for more like exploring rather than trying to race or jump off things or whatever. Although, knowing me, I'll probably try it at one point or another. Probably hurt myself, but that's like, like I said, the motorcycle thing. It's a good thing that I didn't get into. It's a good thing I didn't get into stuff like that when I was younger. Probably would have killed myself. And getting into it when I'm older and with kids and all that sort of stuff, it keeps me from doing anything
Too dangerous.
too stupid. I can't say anything stupid because I still occasionally get myself into trouble. But hi, Ryan.
Hello.
How's your new year?
Good.
Good. So what are these guys up to?
Watching the thing and sleeping.
Oh, they're sleeping.
Kyle is.
Okay.
Emma's half asleep and half awake.
Yeah, snowmobiles are expensive. The new ones. I would, like a lot of things, I would never buy one new. I said for a long time I wouldn't even. Oops, that's scrapboard. For the longest time, I said I wouldn't even buy a new car, but then I got really sick of it this winter of having problems with cars, so I went and bought a new one. But yeah, most things I don't like to buy new, especially stuff like that, because they're super expensive because they're, a leisure item, they're a fun toy, so they typically get, expensive. And around here, they're seasonal, so, you might get a winter where you can't even use it. You just don't get enough snow. Yeah, kids definitely make you rethink everything I used to do, that's for sure. Yep. Yep, they keep me from doing most of my stupid things. So yeah, anything that's gonna likely risk my life anyway, for the most part. That's why when I'm outside working on stuff on the roof or something like that, I'll always ask one of them to come out and be out there when I'm doing it. So this way, if I fall off the roof, there's somebody around who can call like 911 for me. But yeah, that's for sure. They keep you busy too. It's harder to keep up with them now than it was a few years ago. That's for sure. Right?
Yeah.
It's a real pain having to chase them around the house.
Wait, are
But-
we doing gaming stuff?
Huh?
Are we doing gaming stuff? The
Yeah,
gaming
we might be
session?
able to do that later. Sure.
Okay.
If I'm still awake. I'm actually surprised I'm still awake now at 11:30. So I was exhausted earlier, but suddenly got a little more energy now. So Chris, you're an hour behind us, so it's like 10:30 there, if I remember right. Especially my daughter, she's an energetic 3, and need to. Yeah. Running shoes to keep up. Yep. So Jeffrey, do you run or? I actually still have my running shoes from a few years ago. They're barely broken in because I just bought a new pair. I'm gonna set the treadmill up over here. I'm actually gonna set the treadmill up right over here because I have I have a TV on the wall there with the Amazon Fire Stick TV thing, so I can watch videos and stuff while I'm running. No, you just need the shoes to keep up. Yeah, I believe that. Need like the shoes and like a 6-pack of Red Bull to keep up with. Southeast Georgia. Okay, sorry, I got everyone's locations mixed up a little bit. Yeah, so we're in the same time zone then.
So you're gonna hit the new year at the same time as us.
Yep. But yeah, the kids definitely. My 6-year-old daughter, she definitely keeps me going, but she's still young enough. She likes to hang out with me more than the other ones. They're getting more into the age they like to do their own thing. But yeah, I gotta get that treadmill set up. That'll be good. I've kind of been reluctant of setting it up here in the shop only because this is where I do woodworking. If I'm not using a lot of power tools and stuff, I won't have as much dust, but I don't know.
Is it electric?
Yeah.
Oh.
But so I don't know. I'm reluctant to set it up because you know obviously when you're running too, you're breathing a lot and you don't want to breathe in a lot of dust. So if there's dust sitting around everywhere,
Oh yeah.
you don't really want to breathe in that
Oh,
stuff in.
are you gonna basically like watch videos while you're running?
Right. Yeah. That's what I figure. I'll probably just put my earbuds in and listen to it that way or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
But
Like turn your phone off and
Yeah, my
like,
daughter's-
keep the volume on.
my daughter's the one also who is most active with sports. She does. My 6-year-old daughter does wrestling. She does soccer, baseball. I think that's it, right? Oh, and skiing.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true, Jeffrey. Give the kids a tool or a sawmill addiction and they won't have money for a drug addiction. Yep. Yeah, give them, it's amazing some of the kids I see who get into stuff like this. I look back and I don't know, I guess I wasn't really exposed to, like woodworking and that sort of thing when I was a kid, but it wasn't something I didn't get into it until I was an adult. I think a lot of it had to do when I got my first house and was able to set up a little workshop in my garage. And then, of course, you have a lot less time at that point, so it'd actually have been nicer to get into it when I was younger. I did have a woodworking shop in school, so that was pretty much about it. I actually still have the very first thing I built.
Oh yeah, I still have it.
Yep. I built a bookshelf in 7th grade woodworking shop he's now in 8th grade, and he has that little bookshelf in his bedroom now. He keeps his like Legos and things like that on it.
Yeah, but I need shelves for my Legos now.
So yeah, that's another thing we got to do is build shelves for the kids' room, because now they have more stuff and Lego sets and things. So I actually took some oak stickers out from the yard that I used for stacking wood and brought them in here and cut them down to about 3/8 of an inch thick and stacked them in front of the wood stove for a few days, and they're mostly dry.
Yeah.
You know, they may not be 100%, but they're mostly dry.
And then you can make
You can still smell they're fresh. But so I was going to use these and make little oak wooden crates and hang them on the wall to make shelves out of them. I thought it would look kind of cool. Oh, cool. Yep, he's in the 8th grade. His younger brother is in 3rd grade.
Yeah.
And my daughter's in 1st grade. Male teens in the 50s went from James Dean look to what the heck is a man? Yeah. Oh man. Yeah. The way the kids and young adults nowadays, it's definitely quite a bit different. That's for sure. If the kids act up, then make them go out in the woods and pick out a stick and they will get. That's a good one. Yeah, my father used to leave a belt. I've told him before. He'd leave his belt hanging on the doorknob to our bedroom as a reminder if we misbehave, what we got coming. But not as much anymore, huh? So, yeah, I'm hoping over the next week or so I can wrap up some of these woodworking projects, maybe even sooner if I'm not going to be outside as much. Looks like we're going to get weather back up into the 20s in maybe like 2 weeks, like mid-January. A lot of times in New England here we get like we always call the January thaw, where you might get temperatures like in the 40s and 50s. Making me eat Dad's cook. That's awesome. His mother's favorite fret was to make him eat Dad's cooking. What do you think of my cooking?
It's pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I actually like to cook. Before I worked in computers, I worked in the restaurants and managed restaurants. Before that, I cooked and bartended and that sort of thing. That was fun. But once he was born, I had to get out of the whole restaurant and bar thing, because coming home at 3 o'clock in the morning was not didn't really fit into our new lifestyle. So, but I still have my beer, so I guess I'm my own bartender now. But so, has anyone else in here hit the midnight hour yet? Is anyone here in 2018 yet? Not that it's like the most exciting thing in the world when you're an adult, but I know the kids get pretty pumped about it. Quick drinking that foam and get a Budweiser later. Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, Jeffrey, have you ever... Here's a channel that I've always had a lot of fun watching. Your comment reminded me of that, and you may have even seen it. Probably might already know where I'm going if you have. Uncle Rob. 350, 35 or 3? Yes, Uncle Rob. Yep. Yeah. Yeah, I've probably let my kids. They've probably seen a couple of the videos with me a couple times, and they've picked up some of the things. Uncle Rob is cool. His videos aren't the same anymore. Or at least I haven't seen anything recent from him, but his channel's hilarious.
You remember the one where he took his TV and filled it with gasoline and he plugged it in and it exploded?
Yeah, fill the TV with gasoline, plug it in, and it blows up. I like the way he cleans up the weeds in his yard. Just spray gas everywhere, and then
Or the
weed whacker don't work. He lights it on fire and then throws it in the grass.
or the watermelon bomb when he's standing there right in front of it and it explodes in his face.
Oh yeah, he spikes a watermelon with gasoline. That was a good
And
one.
it explodes straight in his face and his face is like black.
So, fisherman. So you were the one who's you're an hour ahead of us then. How's that work?
Oh, so it's in the new year.
So he said it was 35 minutes ago. But
The new year?
yeah. Yeah, Uncle Rob, he's hilarious. It's funny, me and a friend of mine would joke and sometimes say we should start our own Uncle Rob channel. Atlantic time. Oh, okay. Oh, all right. Yep. Yeah, Uncle Rob is hilarious. His channel's funny. Yeah. Has anyone else in here seen his stuff? It's pretty funny. If you're into that sort of humor, which, you know, if you met, especially one of my friends, you would know that I'm definitely into that humor. That's why I keep him around. Yeah, there's one particular friend I have to keep an eye on when he's around because he likes shenanigans. Paul, yeah. Yeah. Yeah, we'll have a little fire going outside or something, and next thing he'll grab something that you shouldn't burn, and I'll come back to the fire, and there's something in there burning that shouldn't be. You know, or throwing fireworks in the fire and not telling anyone he's doing it, or just something crazy. But,
You remember that time when he was shooting fireworks out of the yard, and all of a sudden we were playing video games, playing Minecraft, and all of a sudden we just hear boom, 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 boom,
Yeah.
boom, and we come running out the front door.
well, you'll be hanging out and you won't see him for a minute. You'll be wondering where he is, and all of a sudden you hear gunshots out back because he decides to just go out back and do some target shooting and not tell anybody. But yeah, Chris, if you know, if that sort of thing is amusing for you, I would definitely check him out. And if you haven't checked his channel out yet, there's you got a lot of fresh content for yourself to check out. I actually might go over there now and just see because I'm curious. His I used to.
Uncle
Yeah,
Joe.
for another friend of mine always says he wants to start his own. He's also works in
Uncle Joe.
FPS Russia channel is not active anymore, but he did a lot of cool gun videos. Oh, cool. Yeah, unfortunately, yeah, YouTube kind of put the hammer down on a lot of those channels, unfortunately. Oh, there was another one. There was this Russian guy. I can't remember his name now. Big guy. He always makes all sorts of. He makes weapons and stuff. Made this crazy big axe.
The Crazy Russian Hacker.
No.
That's a channel on YouTube.
Uncle Job. No, that's not what I was looking for. The best of Uncle Rob.
2017. Oh no, that's
So that video. Oh, he's got 161,000 subscribers now.
why didn't you
I don't think he had anywhere near that when we last
painting
went.
with Uncle Rob?
But yeah.
And then he throws the gas container in.
So let's see when
The
his
Crazy
most
Russian
recent.
Hacker is a pretty good stuff.
Oh yeah, Ryan watches him. Yep.
I haven't seen his most recent videos.
Yeah, he did have some cool stuff. He was. I think I watched him splitting wood one time in his yard.
Oh, he did this bottle rocket thing, but instead of putting Mentos into it, I think he put dry ice into it, and he flipped it over and it shot up even higher.
Oh yeah, here's yeah. So it's funny. Uncle Rob actually hasn't put a video out for a few months.
3 months actually.
I have the same problem. I've had so many subscriptions that I can't keep up, and I have to go back through sometimes and
Fidget spinners are
and-
getting old.
get unsubscribed from things that I just know I'm never taking the time to watch. just because it fills up your, fills up your feed with videos. And there's a lot of stuff I'd love to watch, but that I just never have the time to.
Yeah.
But what, actually, speaking of that, what sort of, I mean, aside from, Uncle Rob, and we talked about the Crazy Russian Hacker,
Oh, the King of Random. It's a pretty good channel,
for
too.
some real fun, take a big chunk of sodium and try to skip it across a lake. You're going to do that now, aren't you?
No. Well, isn't sodium just salt?
That's right. Yeah. Yeah.
Well,
So yeah, but you can get a chunk of it. You can
Yeah.
wet it and then let it harden. For some real fun, oh yeah, we just read that. But yeah, speaking of other channels and stuff, what Pure
Pure
Sodium.
yeah.
Okay. What other channels do you guys watch?
I've been watching the King of Random.
Oh yeah, King of Random. He's another good one.
Yeah, and you know that second guy, the second guy that does the videos now on the King of Random.
No, I haven't actually seen any of his videos recently.
So there's two people who do.
There's one he melted down his YouTube. I don't know, what do they call it? The plaque or whatever they send you when you get so many subscribers.
No, that was one of the. He had extra.
Oh, that was a different guy.
He had extra silver left, and I think he molded.
Oh, he made a play button. Okay.
Yeah, and then he melted it. So I don't think that was his actual one, but he made another one. He molded a thing.
Hmm.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
cool.
there's some metals that you can melt, but it's not hot enough to melt like iron and stuff. So you can put it in
You can melt aluminum.
you can put it in a muffin tin, and it comes out to be like these.
Oh, like an
fingers.
egg knot, yeah. I think that's what they call it, egg knot. Sawmill and homestead welding, that sort of thing. Yep. Yeah, Wrangler Star. He's a obviously, I'm sure everyone here knows who he is. He's got a huge channel.
Oh, God.
I kind of have to pick and choose his videos. There's some videos that I like to watch and others that aren't so great. But, that goes with a lot of channels. The Samurai Carpenter.
Oh, yeah.
So his channel's pretty cool. I like watching him. He's out of Canada. He does some really cool joinery. Amazing work. Like, I just look at his stuff and I say, there's no way I'm ever going to do something like that. Really interesting Japanese timber framing I've seen him do is incredible. It would be awesome to be able to do that stuff. But I know he does like Finnish carpentry as a trade, so he's very experienced with that sort of thing. Chuck E 2009.
I'll be back.
Yeah, you're right about that. I saw his review on the sawmill. I don't know what's up. And then I think he's back to, I think he's still using a chainsaw mill so I don't get that. Doesn't make sense. So yeah, I don't know. That's kind of crazy. Especially, they got a lot of good wood up in Canada. I'd love to have some of the stuff. I love fir, cedar, and we don't have really any of that around here. There might be, but there's not much of it. Trying to think. We watch Buck and Billy. Mr. Chickadee. Yes, Chris. Yep. He's cool. He's definitely all from what I've seen in his videos, very unplugged. He uses hand tools, and he built. I know he built a timber frame barn or house workshop. No, workshop. That was pretty cool. He made it very interesting. Hey, Damon. No fires. Nope, not yet. It's not 2018 yet, so the year's not up. I still have 15 minutes. Yeah, so that's an interesting story, actually. it was a goof on my part. Speaking of burning things down, so we had a forest fire here, and as you can probably guess, whose fault it was. So we were out having a bonfire in the yard, and I've been doing fires for years. That is the finale. Yep, we're gonna go out. Yep, in a blaze of glory. So yeah, that we were out. We had a fire going out in South Park. That's awesome. We had a fire going out on a Saturday night, and the next day we put the fire out. So we thought we put the fire out, poured water on it, the whole thing, and doused it, threw dirt on it, and didn't see smoldering, didn't see smoke or anything. So we thought we doused it good enough. So we go in the house, go to sleep, wake up the next day, we go back out in the yard, cleaning the yard up again. The day before, that's why we were burning. We were cleaning up all the brush and stuff from cutting trees and whatever. And so the next day we're out in the yard cleaning the yard again, cleaning up all the brush, and we had like I had some like pallets out there that I wanted to get rid of and things. So we had a burn pile, like a bonfire burn pile, and I just kept throwing stuff in it. That was where we were burning the day before, but we had put the fire out the day before. So we're just throwing stuff, in that pit. And so it came around, we'd been working out in the yard all morning. Came around lunchtime, about noon, we came inside and came in for lunch. So we were sitting there having lunch. Lunch was done. I sat on the couch for a few minutes to rest before going back outside. And sitting there, and my wife says, hey, if you're gonna have a fire out there, you gotta watch it. And I'm like, I wasn't having a fire out there. I haven't lit the fire yet. She says, well, there's a fire out there. I'm like, okay, that's not good. And so Ryan goes and runs right back in and says, hey, Dad, all the stuff you threw on the fire pit is all burned down to ashes, and the fire's now in the woods. And I'm like, what? So I run outside, and it's funny now, but it sure as hell was not funny that day. I run outside and I look, and there is just a string of fire going up through the woods. All the dry leaves were out there. It hadn't rained in a few days, so everything was pretty dry. And it was just, like they say, spreading like wildfire. It was. And at first I thought, all right, I got to get some buckets of water, the hose. So I run out there with all that stuff, and I try to start putting it out. And I knew immediately when I saw how fast it was going, there was no way I was going to stop that fire. It ended up getting to the point where it caught up, and we had a couple cords of firewood over in the far part of the yard. That was stacked, and that caught. So that, about 2 cord of firewood all burning at the same time. You can imagine the kind of fire we had. And then it kind of continued off into the woods. And then we had about 5 towns worth of fire departments here, working with tankers and everything here, trying to put the fire out. There's probably 50, 60 firemen here. I was out in the woods putting the fire out with them. I ended up with smoke inhalation, getting sick and all that crap, but and even the police were telling me I shouldn't be out there doing it, but I just felt obligated since, it clearly was my fault. And so I said, well, you know what? If you guys are all out here doing this, I'm going to be out here too. And so I made sure my family was safe and all that. And a couple of the cops were behind the house with the garden hose, spraying the back of the house down to keep it wet so nothing would catch the house on fire. But yeah, that's why I had to buy all the land. See, that's how I plan on clearing it. Clear it with fire, Uncle Rob style. Do not blow that thing.
When it sneakers, I will.
Yeah, can you do it in there though?
What?
Because it's loud.
You'll still be able to hear it.
Almost burnt my cabin shed testing my welder for a few seconds when powered by a generator. Went to make it. Oh. Whoa, yeah, that's scary. Yep. Yeah, I had to buy all that land because I burned it down. was almost too far into my shed to put it out with a jug. Whoa. Yeah, that's good you caught it though. Because, I mean, that's basically where this fire was at. Is at one point it was just a smoldering pile, and I don't know, we were probably inside for an hour, and there was no fire out there before we came in. By the time I went out there an hour and a half later, that fire had spread pretty good, and it burnt just beyond our property line. So it went out a few hundred feet, and spread in a pretty good radius. We probably burnt about, if I were to guess, a half an acre of land, and most of it's woods, and you can still see the burn marks on all the trees out there. But you know, on the upside of it, I didn't have to rake all the leaves that year or this year, and you know, it really knocked the tick population down. So, you know, I guess there's always a bright side to it, right? But yeah, there's no starting a fire out there now, though. Although it'd be nice if you could. I mean, I could, but any wood out there that I have that I could burn is all covered with snow. Light a firebird down, had a small torrential thunderstorm roll through. In the morning, there was still a dry spot. Oh, wow. Yep. Yeah, I've actually noticed that where we've had fires and you notice the next day it's still hot. So now I burn in a steel barrel. I had a pit that I had burned in. Now I burn in a barrel, and I keep the fire down in the barrel if we're just out there hanging out. But if I want to do a bigger fire, I can do it in, you know, really wet weather, or the winter where there's snow on the ground. A friend of mine's actually burning tonight. He's got a big bonfire going. Oh, yep. Yeah, that's, you know, if you got some dry stuff, which unfortunately I think there was a bit of a breeze the next day when we were cleaning up the yard, and I think the breeze kind of carried some leaves over to the fire pit, and I think that's what kind of caused it to jump out of the fire pit, and the fact that we didn't know it was still had hot embers in it. But yeah, so trying to think of some other channels. Oh, actually, speaking of goof ups, I think I was telling Damon about it. But he had a pile that burned a month. Whoa. Wow, must have been a dry month. Did you keep it burning? Did you keep feeding it? Or did it just kind of, the embers kept hot that whole time? Yeah, right? The Jedi fire skills. Yeah, that's something. I need you to light my wood stove for me. Then I'll have to light it ever again. Keep repiling. Oh, okay. So you just must have had a whole bunch of brush you had to burn. But yeah, one of the other, speaking of goof ups, before that, I was out cutting trees, and I had my friend Paul, who we were talking about before, out helping me cut, and he just wanted to keep cutting trees. He was in a big hurry, and so one of the trees we cut down started going in the direction we wanted it to, but before it continued, the hinge broke on the right side of it, and then the tree decided to go to the left and took out the power lines and the phone lines all in one shot. So that was an interesting trip. So we were off grid for 24 hours. You got even more to burn up. Wow, so I've been on for a little over 2.5 hours. That's crazy. There's a car seat foam recycling plant across the street from a terminal. My truck employer occasionally has a foam pile fire. Whoa, a foam. 5 minutes to go. I guess we can. Although I'll warn you, it's probably noisy. So this is what these crazy kids are up to. Watching the countdown.
Yeah, YouTuber's not doing so good right now, Mike.
Yeah, he's off by like 4 minutes and he was on the wrong stream. I'm pretty sure.
Well, there's some of my woodworking up there. My fireplace mantle.
I mean, Mike is sending me here in 3 minutes and this guy's flipping the pages.
No, that's people sending tweets.
So yeah, they're streaming. Can you hear the crazy screaming and all that? They're streaming, to quote the Grumpy Cat, Unhappy New Year. So. Actually, hang on a second. So I have to use the men's room for a second. I'm going to set you here for just a second. You can watch these crazy people.
One sip and...
Wait,
What is your name? Yes, it's Paddington. If we're kind and polite, the world will be right. Where do you think you're going, Blair? Come on, people. It's only one red sock. What's the worst that can happen? Oh, that's not good. Come in. Paddington 2, rated PG, starts January 12th.
Fast-acting ZQL liquid caps help you fall asleep fast. Like, stop staring at the clock fast. Like, stop worrying about your boss fast. Like, wow, you're already asleep fast. When life keeps you up, ZQL helps you fall asleep in as little as 20 minutes.
Hey! Oh yeah, it's 11:59, guys.
Yeah, our YouTuber is not getting it together, Mike. We're gonna miss it.
So, I'm probably going to be in trouble because unfortunately the cable, yeah, it's 1 minute away. I'll leave it here actually.
Architects, this is Anna Baker.
We'll all ring in the new year together.
Tomorrow is important, but you're ready to bet on...
Or, I'm sorry, to quote the Grumpy Cat, the...
Find an advisor. Northwestern Mutual...
Oh, Jeffrey. Hey man. Thanks for stopping by. Hopefully we'll see you on the next video. Hope you have a good night, man. It's a little loud in there. But yeah, they wanted to watch something for the new year, but unfortunately the... Oh. Happy or unhappy New Year, depending on your outlook on things. So here, I'm going to pop my bottle of champagne. And there's the kids celebrating. Happy New Year, guys. So what resolutions you guys got? So apparently there's some sort of delay in the YouTube video they're watching because it's like 2 more minutes. Yeah, so I don't think Jeffrey was a big fan of the New Year thing. But that's all right. But so I'm just looking at Jeffrey's channel now. Okay, I can see that 76 snowmobile he was talking about. I'll have to check that out. Yeah. Yeah, I think he saw the celebrations of the New Year and looks like he was ready to take off, so. Oh, they're going nuts in there. Oh no, that's all right. Nope. Sorry. No, I was just up there seeing what they were up to. Nine, 8. They're doing the countdown now, but it's like 3 minutes late because they're watching it on YouTube. You can hear them celebrating a few minutes late now. Yeah, Jeffrey, we thought you left. That old snowmobile tops out. Wow.
The guy was a little late.
Yeah, he was.
He was about like 6 minutes off.
To be fair, I was up there during the technical New Year. You guys were a few minutes late.
No, we
You almost scared Jeffrey away.
Yeah?
Just kidding. Yeah, I'm gonna have to check out that video. I see that you just put it out a week ago. Your 76 vintage cat. I thought about getting an old snowmobile, but I don't know how much trouble I'm asking for by doing that. I mean, I could always work on it and stuff. When I get home again in 2 weeks, so the GPS to top speed. Yeah, that'd be interesting. My neighbor's got a snowmobile for sale. I think he said it was like an 800cc. He wanted like $1,000 for it. But I don't know. I don't know much about him. You can just put the...
Yeah, it's
doesn't
just
already
in the
be
way.
plugged in.
I was gonna plug it back in after it came back up.
No, it's actually kind of...
Happy New Year.
Fun.
What?
Oh.
Oh, Happy New Year!
Ryan says Happy New Year. So a Jag, is that the, by the way, that's sparkling apple cider, just in case you're wondering. Although I think I was younger than him when I started, but anyway. Get a long travel snowmobile circa mid-90s. Long travel means 10 inches of suspension travel. The new lines have 13. Oh, wow. So they must ride like a Cadillac. Well, I imagine you probably hit a lot of bumps. I don't know if... I mean, I don't know what it... I've only ridden a snowmobile once, I think, which is actually the boots I'm wearing. The reason I bought them was for riding with my brother-in-law, and he had 2 snowmobiles, so I would ride with him. But Arctic Cat, oh, Arctic Cat Jag, okay, get it. 250cc twin
Go
fin.
put this,
Wow.
I'm gonna go put this back. Wait, but are we starting the gaming live stream?
You do it later, after this.
Just, alright, yeah.
Yeah.
Just make sure to come up and tell me if I'm still up here.
Oh, I will. It's 5 a.m. New Year's Day here in Scotland. Hey, thanks for coming by, Mikey. If I don't see you here, I'll see you maybe over on Buckin's channel. Freer means no belt-driven cooling fan. Oh, okay. Oh, so you better keep moving to keep it cool. Yeah, that's I mean 12:05 now. I see those horns going in the wood stove very soon. Yeah, 5 a.m. man. I haven't stayed up that late in a couple days. No, in a long time. But yeah, it's always fun to do it once in a while. The kids like to stay up late, which they probably shouldn't, but especially since they're going to be going to school, technically tomorrow. Free air is like an air-cooled motorcycle. Oh, okay, yep. Yeah, before I bought this house, I had a 2001 100th anniversary Harley Sportster. I loved that bike, but I ended up selling it when we bought the house because we had to do all that work. But I did have a snowmobile once, but I actually never rode it because I think I bought it in the spring and sold it in the fall. So it was kind of silly because I bought it, had owned it the whole time where I couldn't ride it, and sold it right before I could have. But yeah, that was kind of silly. But yeah, I'd like to get one over the next, year or so. I don't know, maybe this year if I think I might have the time to ride one. I think it would probably be handy around the property too. I mean, it's only like just under 5 acres or whatever, but just to kind of ride around and stuff like that. I know Chris doesn't have a snowmobile. Soon they'll be charging for that. Yeah, tell me about it. They'll be taxing the air. So any of you guys do with the whole New Year's resolution thing, or I used to think that way and then thought, what, if I'm going to have a resolution, I'm just going to start it now. Why wait? Although I still don't start it either, but chug, chug, chug. I've been nursing it on my, I opened the first one like 3 or 4 hours ago. But yeah, I don't know if any of you guys drink beer, but, well, Jeffrey drinks Budweiser. But I used to just like the less expensive domestic beers, but I've just been into IPAs a lot more lately. Get more projects done around the house. Yes. Oh, all right. Budweiser was a joke. Yeah, I just can't. I can't do Budweiser.
Wonder if Liz is still awake.
I was in my 20s or younger or whatever. Anything really didn't matter, but New Year's resolution. Oh yeah, you were saying Red's Apple Ale, much better flavor than beer and a better. Okay, huh? Yeah, my wife loves. Was it Angry Orchard?
Yeah.
Yep, she drinks the Angry Orchard, and she likes her newfound love. There's a apple orchard just a couple towns away, and they sell their own like apple cider product that they make themselves, which is actually really good. Some of it's good, some of it's not something I'm really into, but when it starts getting too sweet, overly sweet. Oh yeah, the wicked apple. Yeah, exactly like you're saying. When something starts getting too sweet, I just can't do it. But I used to make my own beer, which I'd like to get back into. That was a lot of fun. If I do, maybe I'll, it's not woodworking, but I could throw some wood in the beer, I guess. Wood chips or something. I'm just kidding. But yeah,
Do it in
if
your
I
video or something.
if I get back into that, maybe I'll share doing that. Have any of you guys ever brewed your own beer? I know it's kind of like off topic or whatever, but we're now down to almost 3 hours into the live stream with 6 people watching. Don't ask what happened to put the Wicked Ale on my band drink. That sounds like a story. That sounds like a story. Chris, you haven't? Yeah, I don't know. I started out. It was funny. If anyone's ever heard of the Mr. Beer kit, you never. No, you wouldn't have remembered. You were like 3, I think, when I had it. Probably wouldn't have remembered
No,
it.
I'm laughing at the name of the company or.
Do not pass out or get drunk. Onky one drink. Oh, only one drink. Onky. Onky one drink? No.
Only one drink. He probably.
Only one drink.
He's probably typing
Yeah,
on a
so-
phone or something.
Yeah, the first beer kit I had, my wife bought me. I think it was for Christmas. It was for Christmas. 10, 11 years ago.
Then you still got the pot?
No, it's all gone. It's all gone. I sold all my beer making stuff
I thought
when we were in the last house.
we still had the giant pot that had.
We still have the large metal pot where I would cook it, yeah, where I would boil it down. But
Well, so you could still boil it down and then.
yeah, there's still a lot more to it. Yeah, but
Yeah.
so the kit, they had. If you look it up, there's a kit called Mr. Beer, and it's just a very small. I think it's like a gallon, if I remember right, and like you can get the little Mr. Beer kits. I don't even know if they make it anymore.
Wait, can you show me a
But-
picture of what yours beer looked like?
Yeah. So they would.
Belle decided to join you guys.
Looks like our own. Hey, Belle. Belle, come here.
Keeps getting on the furniture.
Belle.
Oh,
And she won't come over.
somebody joined.
Well, Belle just went down to the basement.
Can they see me?
Oh, Falcons Fury. How you doing? So, yeah, again, back to what I was saying. So I had the Mr. Beer kit, and it comes with like this kit that you can make your own beer in this small little like 1 gallon keg shaped thing, which is pretty cool. And it was interesting to get some of those kits and get into it, doing it with that. And then I started researching beer making a little bit more, and then there was this local like homebrew shop that I went and visited and talked to the guy there, which was kind of funny because you walk into his shop and he greets you at the door with a fresh glass of homebrew in his hand and comes and walks you through all the stuff that he's got in his shop, and it's pretty interesting. It's a pretty cool process. You can actually get pretty deep into it, right to the point where you're like growing your own hops or whatever. But I got kind of to the moderate level of home brewing. I got 4 or 5 gallon things to ferment in, and a bunch of stuff. I made some of my own things, but it's a lot of fun if you're kind of, I don't know, it's kind of what turned me into a little bit of a beer snob.
You
I'm
could
not still
sell
not
it,
some. You can't sell it.
Couldn't?
That's illegal. Not unless you're licensed to sell it. You got to
Yeah.
bottle it. Yeah, there's a lot more to it than that.
Well, yeah, you could obviously do that. Like,
The micro brews are fun to check out, like the bars that have the micro brews. But of course, I mean, geez, we don't get to do that, like we used to. So Falcons Fury, Happy New Year.
he's in our time zone.
Or I should say, I'm assuming Happy New Year. There's still a few time zones that haven't quite hit that mark yet. Is there anyone here that hasn't hit the new year? Oh, Falcons Fury is your son. Oh, cool. Just as he signed into his PC. Oh, that stinks. Oh, bummer.
Locked up. We locked up? What do you mean?
I'm guessing he's probably rebooting.
Oh.
But yeah, I don't know how many people we had in the chat at one point or another, but
Wait,
I didn't
has
really keep
Chris-
an eye on it. We actually, congratulations everyone, we just hit 3 hours in the live stream.
Oh, it
That's
had a green thing in
More
there.
that's more than a new record. Yeah, I've never live streamed for 3 hours.
You're not even on your mic one?
Nope. No, except for that one time I accidentally left it on overnight. But I forgot I didn't hit the stop button, and I thought I did. So that was.
Oh, it's kind of like that guy.
There wouldn't have been much to see. It's just a black screen, but.
No, it wasn't.
Oh, it wasn't?
No, it was game was loaded up and it said disconnected from internet or something on the screen.
Yeah, so sometimes I like to play like, I don't know, online games. When I was a kid, like this guy over here, I used to like playing video games, but video games today are obviously a lot different. So I can't really keep up with the games today, but
You can.
I'm assuming how old is your son, Chris? Oh, you were saying he was 13, right?
I think he was in 8th grade.
Okay, yep. So he was in 8th grade, so 13, 14.
Yeah.
Yep. So my guess is he's probably likes video games. He's 12, okay. Yeah, so he's probably at the age he's if he's got a computer, he's probably playing video games. I'd have to wager.
Yeah.
Oh, he's in 6th grade. Okay. Yep.
Oh, yeah.
So Ryan is 13. He started school pretty young. He was actually at the age where he could have either started school or Minecraft. Yep.
Yeah.
Oh boy. Yep. That's the big one.
Yeah, and I like to play Roblox.
And Roblox, which I'm sure he probably does the same thing.
Since I don't have a account on Minecraft anymore, I can't play. So I play Roblox a lot more.
Yeah, and Ryan's computer is kind of junk right now. I need to fix.
It doesn't even when you go to load it, it will stay on the loading screen for like a while, and then you go to open up like an application. It'll take like 30 minutes for it to load.
Yeah.
We just need to fix the desktop one and then just get a Bluetooth or like a.
So do you guys usually stay up like late for New Year's?
Thing.
We usually get through shortly after New Year's, an hour or two.
Yeah.
And then people start kind of nodding off. We already lost Kyle, right?
I think so. And then Emma actually fell asleep, and then Mom woke her up because Emma asked her for Mom to wake her up.
Yep.
Yeah, and then she got kind of mad a little bit.
I would be willing to bet. Yeah. So Emma's my 6-year-old redheaded daughter who
I'll be back.
gets the red hair from my Irish side of the family, and also her fiery little personality. So one thing I will never do is wake her up when she's sleeping. I let her wake up on her own, because you wake her up and she is not happy. The past week it's been every night. Oh wow. Yeah, I think I fell asleep yesterday at, I don't remember what time it was, 8 or 9. There was one night I went to sleep at 8. Another night I was up till 4 o'clock in the morning. I was actually out here. One thing about being out here in the workshop, when I do decide to come out here at night after everyone's sleeping, is I end up all night, because it's a lot like Jim, talking to him through some of his comments and stuff. When everyone's asleep and there's no one around, you just get so much more done. Head it up. See you next time. Yeah, I hear you. Hey, good night, Damon. Thanks for stopping by. Have a good New Year. Have a good day. Hope you get some rest. We'll see you soon. But yeah, I don't stay up. I mean, I can't stay up because I work, but I I usually start work at about 6 in the morning, 5:30, 6 o'clock. Although it's easy because I work from home. At least 4 out of 5 days a week I work from home, so I just get to wake up and grab my computer off the nightstand and I can work. Actually, that's it's kind of revealing my secret now here while I'm building this laptop stand. I like, sometimes I'll work late at night too, working on projects or whatever, and trying to work from bed, it's kind of a pain. You know, like I said, I'll put a pillow up or whatever to try to like use my laptop while I'm sitting there, and that's not a good idea. But so I thought I would try this and try making this thing. I don't think I've even looked online to see if anyone else has made one of these. I'm sure somebody has, but to just even get an idea of the design and that sort of thing. So I think I was asking earlier, do any of you guys do like woodworking and stuff, like whether it's, you know, hand tools or power tools or whatever? And if you do you work off of like, do you like do a plan first and then build it, or do you just kind of wing it? I'm just curious because I find I can wing it. I mean, I can certainly, I have built plenty of things with just without a plan, but I find if I have a plan, I get stuff done a lot faster because I don't have to stop and think about what my next move is, because I can pretty much just cut a list of stuff and then assemble it. Yeah, so yeah, I kind of like having plans, but I used to like using other plans, but now I'm more, oh, hey, Falcon's Fury, what's up? Good to see you're back. Hope your computer's okay. So yeah, so I used to like having, using other plans. Initially, I didn't use plans at all, and then with my OCD and ADD and all that crap of distractions and having to have everything just right, I moved to using plans, and I would use other people's plans. But now what I do is we'll look at other people's plans, and I'll look at a variety of plans, and then I'll just kind of write my own plans up and just kind of, you know, sketch something in SketchUp. I got, I think one or two videos on my channel where I did a little bit of SketchUp. I tried one the other night, and I tried to do a live SketchUp, and that, I don't know why, but whenever I share my screen when I'm live, when I share my screen, it for whatever reason ends up being choppy. So I'm really not sure why that happens. That's why I'm glad the camera's working okay. I'm actually using just my laptop, the built-in webcam that's on the screen. I actually have a webcam, like a separate webcam somewhere that I like to use because it looks a lot better, the video's a lot better in it, and I have this, I think it's like a 16-foot long USB cable, so I can actually move it around without moving the computer around. Draft site, that's interesting. Yeah, only thing I've used so far is SketchUp, but I've never heard of Draft site. That's interesting. I'll have to, I'm gonna make note of that so I can check it out. But there's a little bit of a, I mean, just like any of these things, I'm sure there's a little bit of a learning curve to it. But once, I mean, like with SketchUp, once you get kind of in the groove and you really, you know, you learn all the shortcuts and all that, it's pretty easy. Have you been using Draft site for long?
Hands are too big.
Oh, cool, Jeffrey. Yeah, I'm subscribed to you, and I get the notification thing turned on. So if you do that, I'll yeah, the live. I like the live stream thing. I mean, I've never done I've never done, I think, more than an hour on one. So this is quite something for me. But I'm having fun. I'm sitting out in my shop. It's quiet out here. You know, I guess that kind of comes with age. You enjoy that sort of thing and just chatting with people. But yeah, I have a blast with it. I don't know if anyone here is on Grizz 270's channel, but a lot of times what he'll do is he'll use Google Hangouts to do his live chats. And you can actually bring other people in on your live feed and kind of chat with them, and they can chat back, sort of thing. So that's kind of interesting too. Do something like that, but
Yeah.
you know, maybe we can try something like that at some point. But yeah, I want to definitely. So next weekend, all right, cool. All right, I'm gonna look out for that for sure. And actually, one of the things I learned from doing the live feeds that people seem to like is to kind of, oh, hey, cool, thanks, Falcon's Fury. And this is my son Ryan here. I'm not sure what your name is, but this is my son Ryan. He has his own YouTube channel. It's just called Game Slugger, all one word, Game Slugger. And he does some online gaming stuff, plays Minecraft and Roblox and that sort of thing. So if you guys want to connect there, you can check him out. And you can check out Falcon's Fury.
Mm-hmm.
So, what was I saying? Yeah, so the live feeds, I like the live feeds just because I kind of feel it's like more, I don't know, laid back and less structured, I guess. It's a way to kind of chat and have kind of a live back and forth with people. But, you know, I also like doing the videos a lot. So, but I like the idea of doing like a once a week live thing. I think it's kind of cool. I don't know what you guys think of it, but there's only, 6 people on here now. But
Oh, is it this guy?
Falcon's Fury, there you go. He's got 10 subscribers, and now he's going to have 11. A few years using DraftSite, used AutoCAD for years. Oh, okay. A few years using DraftSite. Okay, yeah, I've only started using SketchUp
Let's see if the
maybe 10, 12 months tops.
let's see if the guy posted a new video.
But I like it. But I should check out DraftSite. So you did AutoCAD for years. Did you do AutoCAD? Did you use AutoCAD in your profession, or? I've enjoyed the live years. Yeah, I like the live stuff.
Oh, what's that? What? I guess he didn't.
Here.
I was looking down.
Oh no, you gotta go. Oh, that's not.
No, I was
All right.
looking under people's channels, but I guess the person
Ryan's sitting here checking out gamer channels.
the way it was.
Yeah, he likes to do the live feed thing, of course,
Oh,
with the
just-
video games and that sort of thing.
The
but
guy has posted the video yet.
I do like to do, like, I did one night. I did a live feed, and there was only like I think 2 or 3 people on. It was kind of late because like I said, I like to work out here late when everyone's sleeping, so there wasn't many people on. But I think 2 or 3 people joined, and I was just out here sharpening some tools and cleaning or something. So I just kind of turned the live feed on. Oh, there you are, Ryan.
Yeah.
So Ryan joined in from his broken phone.
It's not broken. It's just the screen's cracked.
The screen's cracked, yeah. So,
Pause it. No, I can give it a try.
what was I saying?
Wait.
But yeah. So, oh, draftsman for 8 years before I got my. Oh, nice. What type of engineering do you do?
Yeah, Fortnite's a pretty cool game.
So, I don't know if Falcon's Fury is still on, but Ryan says he likes Fortnite. Oh, you just got your phone screen replaced. Yeah, 100. Isn't that crazy? I don't know. To me, it seems crazy, but you know, they want you to sign up for that insurance or whatever, and then they want you to pay, you know, big money to get a repair done. And yeah, that just seems nuts to me. But And
Yeah.
my phone is, my company provides a phone.
It's a first person shooter game type thing.
First person shooter game.
Yeah,
Cool.
it has. It starts with 100 people and it goes down
50%
until the first.
deductible. Oh, okay.
It goes down from 100 people, and then whoever's the last person standing wins.
King of the Mountain style. Nice.
And you fly out of this bus that flies
Flying bus. That's
through the sky, and then you jump out and do that. Yeah.
a mechanical engineer degree, but work in the civil field. Oh, that's cool. So you help design roads and stuff like that?
It's made by Epic Games.
My father was a bridge and tunnel cement mason and laborer for 30 plus years. Just retired earlier this year. My brother is the gamer of the two of us. Oh, okay. Yep. I'll play with the kids sometimes. It's fun. You know, it's one of those things where I can kind of take my head out of the game of the rest of the world and like the kids like to say, chillax. Is that right?
Yeah.
So, you know, I'm not a gamer, but I like to play the games just to kind of. It's not kind of my typical thing, but it's fun. Get a laptop for Christmas, but it's yet to be set up. Oh, okay, nice.
Yeah.
That's great. Yeah, I just bought myself a new laptop only because I've been doing this road, sewer, water trails. Oh, okay. Yeah, my father did he built bridges and tunnels. He did the Ted Williams Tunnel in Boston, the Zakim Bridge in Boston. He did a lot of work in New York and Connecticut. And actually, when I was this guy's age, between 13 and 16, 17, I'd go for summers and work with my father on those on the jobs where my father knew that they weren't going to be looking for union memberships. Chemical engineer by education, now a teacher, but he can still probably get a fire started and leave no sign. Wow. That's cool. Yeah, actually interesting. Myself, I left school early when I was 16, and then realized that was a mistake later, and then later I ended up going back and taking a test to get my diploma, and then went to college for computers and got my associate degree in computers 15 plus years ago, and now I've been doing this for at least that long. So, but before that I was working in restaurants, and then before that I was just doing whatever I could do. I worked in a lumber mill actually when I was 18, 19 years old. Oh, hey, getting started on homesteading. Welcome back. So where are you from, actually? I don't think, we may have already talked about it, but I don't remember. I'm not good at keeping track of like more than a few things. Maybe because I have so many other things. So for anybody, any of you guys who've watched some of the videos on the channel and stuff, I'm curious like what sort of feedback you might have. If there's anything you'd like to see different or changed or whatever. I'm always looking to, you know, be better at that sort of stuff. At first, on the earlier videos, my biggest problem was like getting the idea of talking to a camera like it was a person. But now it's become a lot more fun. In the pulp and paper mill that I worked at, I went back to school and got an associate degree in computer. Oh, okay, cool. Yep. So I was focused on computer networking for a while. That's what most of my focus was on, and then I did a lot with Windows Server administration.
It's shut down.
Yeah, the mill.
Oh.
But yeah, so lately my company's kind of reorganized. The company I work at, I started out at some smaller companies that were 10, 20, 30 employees, but now the company I work for is 6,000 or 7,000, and they're global, so they're all around the country, all around the world.
You just went live.
So that's why I work from home now, because the company I work for is a lot bigger. The company I most recently worked for got bought by them. They were 300 people. That company was bought by the bigger company, and so then I was managing the IT department at the time, and then they kind of took me into their corporate IT department, which is a couple hundred people in corporate IT. And so they took me into that, and then I was put on a team of 10 people, and only one of them is actually even in my time zone. The guy I work with in Ipswich, Massachusetts, and then the rest of them, my boss is actually in the UK, and there is a guy in Australia, and then we have 6 or 7 guys down in Birmingham, Alabama. And then, so we have a meeting every morning at 10 o'clock. We do it all through WebEx. And then we kind of go about our day and work on our projects and our, assigned tasks and that sort of thing. But it's not bad. I mean, I get to work from home, so, and, during my breaks or whatever, I can work on stuff around the house. The kids are at school and my wife's at work, so it's quiet. But I definitely don't like sitting still. Like I always say to people, I'm like a 5-year-old. I can't sit still. So it's kind of a tough job to have sometimes when I have a lot of energy to burn. But that's why I do a lot of this stuff, because it's kind of opposite of what I do normally. So Chris, what are you doing nowadays? Are you still doing that sort of stuff? And so Jeffrey, have you tried playing any of the games with your brother at all, or? I'm seeing if there's anyone. Okay, yeah, there's 5 people still watching. That's been quite a while. He is an engineer, okay. Oh, you do racing sims. That's interesting. All right, that's cool. Like race cars. So Chris is still an engineer. That's cool. That's probably why you like to follow plans a lot. It might be kind of where I'm coming from, but. So what type of racing sims do you play? Gran Turismo, some Formula One, and that sort of thing. Okay. Do you play on the computer? We have Xbox 360 and Xbox One, and then they play the computer games. But out of the 3 kids, because I work with computers, I get computers for free a lot of times. And so they're 3. Actually, my wife's computer is another one. My computer is the only computer in the house that we actually paid for. The rest of them I got for free, but 2 out of the other 4 computers are down and out right now, so I gotta work on them. So Falcons, you play on the computer. Cool. Yeah, the best games are really on the computer, but sometimes to play the more, I guess, resource-intensive games can be more expensive, only because it requires a lot more resources to play it. The only reason I bought this computer, as a matter of fact, it's not for the games, but it's a gaming laptop. But I got it a gaming laptop because gaming laptops are also good for editing video. So to do the YouTube stuff, it's a lot more handy to have a much better video card and processor and memory and that sort of thing. PlayStation 2, PS3. Oh, Lightning. Yeah. Yeah, that'll do it. That'll fry some electronics. I had a PlayStation 2 and never had a PlayStation 3. And an Xbox 360, of course, and the Xbox One. I had a PlayStation 2. I never had the original PlayStation, I don't think. I remember I had a Sega Genesis. I had a Super Nintendo. I had a Nintendo Entertainment System. Atari 5600 or 4800, I forget now. 4600. And then the first Atari I had had like the wood grain look to it. And then we had Pong. I think that's as far back as I can. That's about it. When I was a kid, we didn't have computers. When I got into like my early teenage years, I know other kids had computers, but we didn't. But what's the I guess earliest systems you had? Oh, there you go. Atari 7800, NES, SNES, 64, PlayStation 2, PlayStation. Cool. Yep. Yeah, I liked video games a lot when I was a kid. Unfortunately, I spent probably too much time playing them, but you know, it's what you do. Dreamcast. Oh, no, I don't think I've ever seen that one. I'm on the computer at work all day, so I don't get on the computer much at home. Yeah. Oh, cool. Watching the stream on the Roku, that's cool. Oh, nice. Yeah, that's probably the best way to do it. That's a good idea, actually. I might try that next time I'm watching a live stream. The 2600, that's what I had. That's what it was. Yeah, I had the original 2600, and then they came out with a smaller, like all plastic one. Well, I think the original was all plastic too, but it had that wood grain look. Used to play Super Mario 64, Donkey Kong 64. Oh yeah, Nintendo 64. Okay. I don't think I ever seen that one. Oh, I missed that. The Strike fried the hot tub, garage door. Oh wow. Yikes, fried the whole house. So many 64s. Yeah. Well, I've been on for 3.5 hours, which is amazing. I don't think I've ever been on a live stream anywhere for that long. But it's been a good time. I like coming on here and chatting with everyone. And so I appreciate you coming by, Falcon's Fury. I definitely hope to see you on another one. So I'm probably going to finish it up here at this point. It's getting pretty late and I'm getting tired, but I had a blast and had a good time bringing in the new year with all you guys, and you know, hopefully we'll see you on some of the upcoming videos now here in 2018, and I'm planning on hopefully doing this every Sunday as long as I'm able to, so and maybe even in between. So I'm gonna take off, see what the family's up to, and then probably head to bed shortly. But again, I appreciate everyone stopping by and hanging out in the shop. And record long live stream, yeah, yep. It's me too. Have a good night, Jeffrey, Falcons Fury, Chris, and the Homesteader. I will check you guys later. Happy New Year. Have a good night. Take care.